On camera again?
Oh, Tubin, not tubing.
Tubin discourse.
He's hired again.
I've what?
He's hired again.
Ugh.
They brought him
Of course he
back.
is.
Look, he did nothing wrong if you remove the masturbating in front of his coworkers and the entire body of his work as a political analyst and as a prose stylist. If you remove those, if you can control for those, Jeffrey Tubin's pretty fucking cool.
Jeffrey, so I just point of correction. I don't think he was masturbating in front of them. I think that was below camera. I think the problem was that he wasn't bothering putting his junk back when he stood up to like go get a drink from the kitchen.
That's an important part if you're going to do that. That said, I don't think the fact that you could only see the top bit was ameliorating.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
If I get on a work call and I go like this, hubba hubba auga, whoa, boo, yes, it implies enough that it's already problematic. You don't have to actually see the locus of control, so to speak.
Yeah, see, I feel like it's still masturbating on camera, even if I can't see the genitalia. Like, it's just he's still masturbating and on camera.
Oh, speaking of masturbating on camera, we've been recording, so I guess I'll just hit the intro and then we can talk about my dating life. Here we go. I wonder, can I do? Yeah. Nope. No. Wait. Okay, I muted you guys for the intro, which was perfect, but I now realized I can't unmute you because
You have to unmute yourself, Brad.
Brad, you have to welcome back the people speaking on the Dumb Awful show is me. I'm Rob. I'm at Dumb and Awful, and then there's Brett, the cackling hyena over there. Sounds like what? Where are you online?
I'm Brad. I'm not online anymore. Don't follow me. Don't find me.
Brett is no longer online. So if you grew accustomed to his takes and pretty round the clock sexual harassment of mutuals, you're gonna have to find him out in the world. GeoGuessr his location and walk by wearing, frankly, something that's acceptable even by today's standards and see what happens. So that's Brett, and then Brad, what's up?
Hey guys.
Well, kind of a Paul Rudd in Wet Hot American Summer intro. Yeah, fuck your handle on Twitter. And don't let them identify your voice. That's for the inner circle.
If anyone still wants to, I'm now formerly Fizz on Twitter because my main account was banned because I made fun of Panthers quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, and they said I threatened to kill him.
It's
a good reason to get banned.
So Carolina, I thought now look, people aren't even asking. They're probably just like more crackling Tubin content. I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth here, but yeah, we were talking about that because you're on your way tubing, which is a very Carolina activity, but not as Carolina as wishing Teddy Bridgewater dead.
the current seeing a Panthers QB on Twitter. No,
former, I think, Vikings backup Teddy Bridgewater.
Former Louisville.
Is that what it is?
He was the guy that was during practice, his thigh slid halfway down his shin, like randomly, and they thought he was going to lose his leg. And he came back and sucked for my team. So I said, someone made a comment about not wanting to throw him under the bus. And I said, throw him under the bus and leave him there. And whatever,
banned you for that.
Indonesian fact checker that's, contracting for Twitter read that as like a death threat because probably in his village, that is the normal way people are executed. And then they decided well, you can't threaten to kill mediocre NFL quarterbacks or teams that no one cares about. And I appealed it. I went through the entire process. I feel Laura Loomer's pain. I know that it is not they don't listen to you. They don't listen to reason. The algorithm spoke and, they spoke against me. My hundreds of followers gone like tears and rain.
The I have to point out the Indonesian comment. That detail is important in the story. It's not just internalized racism by Brad there. And he tried to explain himself, but in the sort of Carolina literacy. And so I'll just help you out here. The fact that he was Indonesian was relevant, not because that is in fact going under the bus is something that like would happen in his village to political dissidents. Although, you play the odds. I mean, maybe really what Brad was trying to say is the Indonesian person doing the freelance sort of Twitter quality control work wouldn't have the cultural context to understand what a piece of shit every Carolina quarterback is. If they understood, the QB rating from the last couple games, maybe then the Facebook moderation or the Twitter moderation would be better and you wouldn't be banned. Is it that close to what you're getting at?
Absolutely. If they understood, watching Teddy Bridgewater throw a 5-yard check down pass on 4th and 10 in the fourth quarter of a very winnable game for like the third time, they would know that it's cool and good to throw him under the bus. And
look, I didn't need to understand soccer to know that when Thierry Henry was playing on the Jersey Red Bulls, I was watching some real upsetting dog shit. And I imagine that Carolina quarterbacking crosses those boundaries. We'll get into, the week and everything. We got like a good little stack here. It's been a nightmare, like always. Hopefully I sound better. I'm using the microphone, but I'm holding it. So I have to do something continuously without fucking it up for 2 hours. And honestly, as a protected, that I should have a protected class as a poll against that. In the same way that I don't know if you saw
working continuously for 2 hours is banned for Polish people
without fucking up. When have you seen it? When have you seen it happen? I don't know if we're doing it on purpose or it was a bit at first and now it's been internalized like so much of my behavior. Why do I say dope and word to people? That was a bit at some point. Now I'm just an asshole.
It's just locked in. Yeah,
that's just forever part of me. It's. Do you see in Long Island actually, like a Long Island Sheriff's Department are like suing to make police a protected class?
Sure, they're not already.
So we can add that to the LGBTIQA2 BLM flag. They literally think that if you say mean words to them, they need civil rights protections. That's the job that apparently you can be born as.
The entire justice system is built around them already. We just need that additional layer of civil rights protection.
I mean, I've been watching cop movies for like 30 years, and they're always like, you're either born a cop or you're born a criminal in this neighborhood. Like the last Al Pacino movie he did with like before like he really started like the dementia really set in hard, where he was like still trying to be a cop even though he's like in his 80s and looks horrible. And he was like, in my neighborhood, you're either born a cop or a construction worker. That's it. So maybe they are a protected class of like vaguely Italian people.
You either contribute to society or you're born a piece of shit fascist.
Yeah, thank you.
They got to do the Chinese thing where you lay out different instruments and the child goes to them. And they got to get more imaginative and expansive with what they lay out there.
They do that for cops, but they always pick up the gun and shoot a black kid, and they're like, yes, that's the baby.
It can't just be like a bag of crack and wherever the baby drops it is either on the work site or on a photo of a black teen. It's like, this is your Polish christening. You're in the Chicago PD now. Yeah, you got a lot of dumb stories coming up. Brett, what have you been up to? I've been up to like fuck all. Anything good?
Surviving in spite of fucking natural order and God's will, somehow still alive. Not much. I was telling Brad I had to move my pile of like weed products because I've been, when I go to stupid local events or I go to like somebody's doing a grand opening and I get something. And so now I just have this like ever growing pile of like bizarre weed products. I got these things called speed tabs, which what a fucking name for a legal product that are like little tiny pills. And that's about it. Weed stuff and playing Genshin. And then just every so often making the mistake of reading about either climate change or infrastructure and going like, let me go back to weed stuff. This was a mistake.
Is Genshin good? Genshin's the one where it's Zelda, but
Chinese.
It's like Fire Emblem meets Zelda, right?
Yeah, actually, it's a good description.
I hear the
I'm
music is
very-
really good in that game.
It's it's good when they're not directly ripping something off,
Well, that's
right?
fine.
The noticeable direct ripoffs of Zelda, it's like, I don't know about this. The noticeable direct ripoffs of Jan Tiersen, a little bit better. That's a good one.
A Jan Tiersen reference. That's one for people that had the Amelie original soundtrack. Remember that French movie by who gives a fuck director?
It's a Genet film.
What was it?
It's a Genet film.
I don't know who Genet is, but he did Delicatessen, did he not?
He did.
Yes. And he also
Yes.
did
Micmacs.
Alien Resurrection.
This is what the people come here for.
Old guy.
Three cishet white guys talking. This is people wanted
Talking
a revolution in masculinity, right? Is in men needed to grow. I don't know. This is what it looks like. I hope you're happy.
Talking about Amelie in French film.
Just
Very Long Goodbye. What else is there?
He's a good director, though.
Yeah, City of Lost Children. Ron Perlman, great movie.
Did anybody else get emotional when Jan Tiersen live had the violin string break and he still managed to play the rest of La Comptine Une Autre Summer?
A little bit, yeah.
Did anyone else get the goosebumps?
Rob, your Frenchness, Marak, is phenomenal.
I don't remember. Look, this is me trying to remember the back of a French album from 2003, and I don't speak French and I don't know the name of the song, and I didn't at the time. At the time, I was taking French lessons, and my mind looked at the word, went, "Hey, you want us to translate it so we can remember it, chunk it?" And I went, "No, we're not getting paid for this. I'm not just throwing that shit up there. No, I got better shit to do."
Yeah, Genshin's good. The music's pretty good. I enjoy. What I've started noticing is people are now freaking out about the China thing every time Genshin gets covered in any sort of press.
Dude, I tweeted about this. I was playing NBA 2K21, which it sucks for the microtransactions and all that. But literally, so Adam Silver had a thing with China a couple of years ago, right? And do you support the Hong Kong protest bullshit? We don't need to relitigate. But so in the game, I'm shooting free throws in my league, and they did a 45-second cutaway where the announcers talked about the threat of China and how it's important for the league to defend human rights in 2K. and they said free speech, and it was weird because that's right, Kenny. Free speech is so important. It's, really, you don't have anything if you don't have free speech. It's the basis of human rights, and it's the basis of the league. And kudos to Commissioner Silver for standing up to China on that. At the end of the day, it's like an American. And you're just like, did we need this?
Building the xenophobia into your video games. I fucking love that.
It's just very odd that's the same game that's just and subbed in is Jeremy Lin, of course, Stop Asian Hate, and just guys, you gotta synthesize some shit. Are you recording them on different days? How does? But it doesn't have. It's capitalism. The contradictions are sort of built in.
That's fucking amazing. I didn't know about that. Yeah, it's just
I didn't know about that until yesterday. I was fucking bummed. My team. I finally got a good team. Sorry.
Oh.
I uninstalled immediately because I have principles, just like how I boycott the NFL, and then y'all don't.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was just like, God damn it! I got a fucking. I had Drew Holiday on point. I had Russell on shooting guard. You understand? Al Horford is power forward. Siakam is small.
That is a good team. Yeah,
that's a versatile team. Sorry, what's going on in Genshin?
And then they threw some xenophobia in there.
It seems like it shouldn't be that high a bar to get over. They're just please let me enjoy my game without getting straight up U.S. State Department propaganda on economics.
It's amazing.
Nope, couldn't get through it.
Well,
this is the one time where I agree with the keep politics out of video games. That is the one time where I agree. Yes, that's a little ridiculous.
When I'm shooting up, go ahead.
It's good that we have a new company to complain about with their stance with China, since Blizzard seems to be on the way out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, no, we were talking about it. First of all, Brett, I'm totally with you. If I'm fucking going for 100 points in 2K, I don't want to hear about fucking Ho Chi Minh at the line either. I don't want to hear any fucking politics. I want to hear wow, look at that little white guy dunk, because that is the whole premise when you buy 2K. So you can make a little white man and he can do sick dunks. Okay. Oh, sorry, Brad. What are you saying?
Yeah, it's sort of Blizzard is sort of collapsing in on itself right now, both from its corporate structure, which is apparently just the most sexist, brutal thing anyone can imagine. And the fact that they fucked up their golden cow and people are hemorrhaging, and they're hemorrhaging. Oh, sorry, my dog is going crazy.
Very good.
And they're just hemorrhaging people to Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, it's been a great time. We talked about it last week a little bit, actually. Just the amount of people realizing they're in essentially an abusive relationship, and and like coming over.
Yep.
In the case of like Blizzard employees, like literally, that's the state
Yes.
of California's stated position is a hostile workplace. But no, it's a real bleak time for like consuming under capitalism, as always. I was talking to my friend Jake, a listener. Shout out to Jake. And the other day, we were looking for a game to sort of play in the evening, a little video game to wind down with. And I said, you know what? Why don't we not do the sex criminal game tonight and just play the white supremacist game? And that was a fully parsable sentence to him as a gamer, which is just like, yeah, let's not play Overwatch, the Blizzard game. Let's play Rainbow Six Siege, the Ubisoft game. Which is just, again, the Ubisoft and Rainbow Six, people on the left don't talk about George Floyd as much as a Rainbow Six lobby does at any given time, ever. Fucking bell hooks is not as creative with words as the third most problematic person in a chalet map in Rainbow Six Siege. Steel Division 2 people, where you literally play as German high command people.
Yeah, those guys are straight Nazis.
Here's the thing. They grind it out. Every once in a while they rub one out to Taylor Swift. They have to service their goddess. They have to do things other than hardcore anti-black racism. Not the guys on Rainbow Six Siege.
That's what I'm saying. Pick option 3. You don't have to go the fucking sex crimes. You don't have to go white nationalism. You could go CCP.
Han nationalism.
You could go CCP.
Yes.
That's what everybody keeps telling me whenever I read about this. They're like, "Oh, the money goes straight to the Chinese government." I'm like, "Great! That's exactly where I want my money to go. That's the best possible avenue."
Wait, isn't
the
it a free
IKEA
game,
worker
though?
like good.
It is.
So what money is going?
If you buy characters.
Oh, you got to buy hats or something?
You don't have to. They actually are pretty good with it. You can do pure free to play if you want, but they try to tempt you with various things where you're like, oh, I really want this character. Maybe it's worth throwing $10 in.
As per usual, the whales are subsidizing the whole system of dangest filth, etc., etc. Yeah.
It's the best possible route for my money to go in this system. That's how I feel when people talk about phones too. And they're like, oh, if you get a Huawei phone, all your data goes to China. And it's like, okay. I see what Facebook and Google do with my data. Let China have a shot at it.
You know what? I don't care what people do with my data in the same way I don't care what people do with my poop. Like, my connection to this has ended. This is now very much, if you want to show a bunch of elementary school kids, like using the clear pipes down at Central or whatever, like, and look, that's the poop coming. I'm not embarrassed. Go ahead. The detritus of my existence is all yours, President Xi. Do with it as you will.
You guys talked about the Freedom phones, right?
What are Freedom phones?
The Freedom phones is like a bunch of right-wing people went and got like the cheapest smartphone they could find from a factory in China. Like these things were sitting in a box in a bathroom somewhere, and had them slap an American flag on there, and then came back and sold them here in the States as Freedom phones. Like the phone itself is a complete piece of shit, and like as soon as the tech nerds got a hold of it, they're like, hard no on this phone. Do not buy this. But the markup on it is higher than the actual like profit margin of an iPhone.
Nice.
So they took the cheapest piece of shit they could, painted it red, white, and blue, sold it to idiots for $800, and they made fucking bank. And it turns out it's nothing but spyware. Like the second it sees your credit card, it immediately just like self-destructs and makes you sure you can't like cancel your card.
Which is even better because the whole pitch was that it doesn't have spyware on it. That was the entire gimmick. Was, hey, this one isn't going to track all your data from evil fucking anti-American companies like Facebook and Google and Apple who can't be trusted. Trust us instead. We'll just take your credit card and steal all your money.
Yeah, but it's going to good capitalist Polish teens just coding out fucking ransomware in Katowice. God bless them. They love three things. Three things. Fucking ransomware, Counter-Strike Go, for some reason, they just won't get they won't find a new game. They just love it. And anti-Semitism, which really is sort of covered in the Counter-Strike Go
Yeah, I was
bit,
gonna
if
say, I
I'm
feel
being
like
honest.
goes without say.
I mean, they might have
That's-
just got Counter-Strike in Poland, so like it might be the new hot thing over there.
No, how dare you? First of all, Poland is one of the top Counter-Strike clans. I can't remember the name of the fuck. I think Pasha or someone was on it. Famously, they're one of the top Virtus Pro, I think it might be. One of the top Counter-Strike like esports teams over the years was a bunch of middle-aged Poles. So they weren't middle-aged to begin with. I know with like Slavic people, you're like, they're born that way, right? And it's like only under certain moons. But so like they started playing and their thing was, and it's just like, it doesn't have to be this way, but in the simulation, in like the quantum universe we're in, like of course it has to be this way. The Polish team, I think it was Virtus Pro, was famous for having no tactics. Like they they just called it like drop the plow or something, and they're just like, here comes the bulldozer, and all five would just run in, just throw like a million nades, and they ended up, it took them like 10 years. Like these guys have no hair left. One of the guys' name was like Biceps. They're all on roids. There's 5 of them, and they're just like in thick, way too tight gamer t-shirts. And they just brute force every single round for years. And they won the world finals. And the announcers were just like, oh, it had to happen eventually, right? It was great. You can look that up. I encourage you, look up Virtus Pro, the plow story or something, and they will just...
I don't know if I ever bought the idea that there's like some sort of generational memory built into your DNA, but that makes me believe there is. Slavs being like, well, the only tactic is to run right at the gun.
We talked about this on... Look, we've done in basically 5 good episodes ever. One is Damon Garcia's Liberation Theology episode. Another one is that Haiti bonus we did that we unlocked, where
about the Poles,
this is Poles epigenetics. Like we love signing up for a forlorn hope and just jamming ourselves in a breach. We just fucking love it. Nobody knows why, but we just do that in our game and in life historically, and we'll be there on the next one too.
That's fucking amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm glad everyone's fucking doing good. I've been sort of, it's been sort of a low endorphin week for me. And so I've been doing, we've talked about before, like house bits, like bits you just do for yourself. Yeah, no, I'm telling the story like a Southern aunt. It's important to stay hydrated. Well, no, so we talked about before, I've been doing like the skinny Goodfellas bit, but the problem with that is it doesn't go anywhere, right? I'm just walking around the house just going like, what do you mean I'm skinny? What? Well, like my body checks amuse you? Like that's it. You're really just going like, no, like I'm skinny how? Like I have body dysmorphia? Like I know what's a safe food and a fear food? No, you tell me. You tell me. Why am I fucking skinny? You like my thigh gap? Why? You tell me why I'm so fucking skinny. And that's it. You're sort of at the end there. So after doing that for a little bit, and I think this one, I'll be honest, I've been loving it. It's a fan favorite for me. But the new one I've been doing is...
can you call it a fan favorite if you're the only one who likes it?
Well, just wait till you hear it. I think this is the new fan favorite. I think this is the next merch opportunity, because this one's going to go gangbusters. It's a new character, a new house bit I'm addicted to, called Gordon Ramsay's Pussy Nightmares.
Okay.
It's dry. No, Brad. It's gone off. Smell that. Smell it. It's rotten.
Something about a donkey.
Go. Tell them we're not sending out any more pussy tonight. Shut it down. Do not let another customer touch that pussy. That's Gordon Ramsay's
I'd
Pussy
watch that.
Nightmares. I'll be honest, I keep doing it, and I don't think I'm gonna stop doing it. This is what I have now. This is what I have. I tried so again, I've said before that like I'm maybe you guys can help me with this, okay? So I'm trying to like not die alone. And already not because I think that's a good thing, because we talked about before, like me and Brett, we already went through all of the good die alone methods, like getting into lighthouses and sea
Yeah.
shanties or like custom cars, like all the World War II history, all this shit that's supposed to be like, yeah, that's how you fucking die alone right there. I couldn't find out a way to make it work for me. So like I'm trying to date and all that. And okay, a big problem is you have to text, and I am not good at that. Are you guys how much are you guys texting?
I almost exclusively text.
How Brett?
Uh, all the time as needed, which is all the time.
Yeah, actually talking to someone on the phone like makes me sort of nauseous.
Yeah, I did the thing for years, Rob, where I try to resist the texting all the time, where I was trying to just reply like twice a week kind of thing. That ship has sailed. Like you just can't do that anymore. The expectation is like you're fucking dead if you haven't responded within blank amount of time, usually a few hours.
Okay, see that is sort of that's what I think. So I might be telling myself and like telling on myself and owning myself right now, but I don't know what the appropriate amount of text time is, because if it were up to me, we wouldn't be doing this. Like, you
Yeah,
know what
no,
I
I
mean? Like,
know.
this isn't as very much is not for me, right? But so I'm like, okay, we don't want to be on that side, right? That's where it's expected. So we'll go ahead and text more. But then I fucking text, and I do not get fucking immediate responses. I feel like I'm doing most of the texting, and that does not feel good. And here's the
No,
thing.
no, you're fucking up.
That's the thing. I know that intellectually, right? I'm usually very good at this. Like I'm like, okay, the listener right now is going, that person's not that interested in you. You need to tone it
Yeah.
down. Like, the people will always make time. And like, I know I'm usually like I'm the Native American putting my ear down on the rail going, we haven't talked about Thanksgiving plans yet this year. That's odd. And really hearing it coming, because I like a relief pitcher. That's my fucking zone. That late game where like both people are already checked out, so there's more time for video games, but you're still getting your dick sucked for some reason. That's like the 2 or 3 innings that I'm bringing the heat. I love identifying and then living in that space.
It's like,
So
yeah, you
like
don't really hit your stride until shit's already over.
yeah, relationship wise, like a fucking sniper, this moment is usually a doe in the brush 500 kilometers fucking away. I've already got that shit. I've noticed it, and I've locked it in, right? But I don't think that's what's going on this time, but it's just, and you know what, here's the thing, it's like it's sometimes it's immediate. Like I'm now actively fishing, where I'm like, oh wow, just whew, close altercation with the police in the train station. I sent that nothing for 4 hours, right? Later I send, is it 100 or 1,000 gex? Instant fucking response.
Don't know what a
Instant.
gex is, but you should go that way more. Maybe this girl is not into, praxis. I'm assuming it's a girl. I apologize. I didn't mean to be presumptuous.
Yeah.
What app are you on? Out of curiosity, is there like a special one for 7 foot tall Polish guys living in New York City?
Yeah, it's called Twitter. No, I'm starting to feel bad. I'm starting to think it's me, because again, when I'm just dropping real bangers, like, Asmongold says that while culture of toxicity is actually why the game itself is bad, I'm getting nothing. But if I'm like, is it really true that Sephora is problematically femme-coded? She's like several people are typing at once somehow on a one-to-one fucking message. Anyway, it feels bad. Also,
They're talking about real stuff. That's all that is.
Well, so that's the other thing.
That is the other bit that I've learned over time. This is like old guy wisdom I've got now. Is I don't like texting. Part of the reason I don't like texting is you get these weird things where one party or the other feels like they're being ignored because God forbid you had work or anything going on with your fucking life. Especially when I was in the military and I literally couldn't bring my phone with me to certain rooms, and I'd have people freak out. And it's like I can't access this shit. Um, but then you also get the bit where like a lot of people don't even want to talk about anything under texting. Like they don't. It's no actual real conversation. I swear to God, I'm fucking 55. And so it's just all bullshit. It's just that's all they want is they just want bullshit responses to know that you're alive and like memeing through the week with them. Like
It was just like, do I have to be there for it? You know what I mean? Like, and this is really you don't have to go on this, but like quarantine was so fucking rough because it's like I hate this texting stuff, and like all there was texting, and then sexting was like a fucking part of it.
It was a revolution in sexting, right?
I realized like a lot of guys are like, yeah, bro, you know what? You want to fight me in a bar? Like, okay, dig your own grave. Because here's the thing, you're gonna have to kill me, motherfucker. Like, I'm not gonna stop. Okay, like once I'm pissed off, like it's a different game. And it's like, all right, man. You know what I'm talking about, Brad? Like those guys that have like an inflated sense of like,
there are like absolutely people that walk into bars ready to fight. And I was actually at a street party a couple of weeks ago, and there was a well-known DJ in town came in, and I was like in gym clothes, and I'm not a small person. I'm certainly like I'm drinking like a shitty beer and eating barbecue, and I look terrible. And this kid came in to see this this DJ, and he was like skin tight, like fucking wife beater, like skinny jeans, this lush mullet, like it was a fantastic haircut. And this kid walked in and stared straight fucking at me as he was walking across the street, me holding a barbecue sandwich and drinking a PBR. And this kid like looked me up and down like 10 seconds blatantly. Like, it's like, just, this is my block party now. This kid weighed 135 pounds, like on his heaviest fucking day. And I'm like, did everybody just see this? Like, is this what Asheville has come to? Like 130-pound 18-year-olds with mullets staring people down? The old
that's
ones
how the
are
South
right.
has always been, man.
What are you talking? Asheville come to? That's actually how they signed the charter. They got that guy's ancestor to fucking stare at the charter until it's
anyway. 20 minutes later, he was dancing to like some indie pop remix. It was great. They had a great time. Yeah, everyone was fine. He just wanted to know that he was going to try to fight me. I try not to get ever into a fight at a bar because you never know, especially in the South, who is like a fucking trained MMA fighter.
Yeah, I was talking about that a little bit ago because I saw some GIF of a guy in a Spider-Man outfit throw hands with a woman in the frozen food aisle at Tesco. And here's the thing: he comes up southpaw stance, throws a jab, feints a fucking cross, and then throws a back leg roundhouse kick and knocks this poor woman to space. She's in the Lanikia supercluster right now, and I saw that and I was like, this is why you can't get I remember around 2003, Bullwinkle's bar in Tallahassee. Like,
Bullwinkle's.
I regret to say, like, I threw a couple guillotine chokes and a couple like double legs that were like just dumb stuff. I wasn't starting it, but like, you had a technological advantage. So you were very much the America to everyone's Yemen. Like, you could just walk around and don't be an asshole, but everyone didn't know MMA. Nowadays, it's like if you get pulled over and someone hops out, they're dropping into like a Thai plum and throwing like teeps and shit at you. They're defending a single leg takedown by sprawling and brawling. You can't fucking do that shit anymore.
There's a wonderful video out there of two guys that play for Texas A&M's football team, or is there Texas? And granted, these guys were like the long snapper or whatever, but they're both huge. They've both clearly never been in a fight before, and they are talking shit to two people in a bar bathroom who are much smaller than them. But these two guys are laughing to each other, and like you can just see it coming. And the football players are like F slur you, like come on, do something, whatever. And one of the friends just looks at his buddy and shrugs, and I mean immediately takes him down. Quick slap to the ear to distract him. 1-2, and then like as the video falls to shit, you see him just getting slammed down into the floor. One of the guys has him in a full rear choke, just showing off. Then his buddy is slamming someone's head into a sink. It's incredible. Like the other end of that is a lot of bigger guys, especially at bars, have never taken a punch.
Yeah.
And not that not that
Yeah.
I'm throwing a lot of punches or anything, but like you've seen people that like the first time they take a punch, like you learn if you can take a punch or not. And a lot of people can't. And those two football players for Texas could not take a punch. And it's wonderful.
Polish people famously can take a punch because, like Spartans, immediately after delivery of the baby, we give it a little smack on the butt, cut the umbilical cord, and then punch it in the face a couple times to see if it's gay or not.
Welcome to life.
Yeah. And we do that again at 12 at your christening in the church. Yeah.
This is just how things go.
It's not getting any better in fucking Krakowis or wherever the fuck you're being sent. Yeah, no, people don't know until they know, but they have, it's important for day-to-day maintenance of manhood, right? To pretend that like you know how to fight. And I kind of feel like with that is sort of what I realized is me with sexting. Like I
This is where this was going.
No, but I'm effortlessly making transitions. I have an audio drop I'm getting to come hell or high. I'm like the U.S. Postal Service on this audio drop. I'm getting there late and with a lot of fucking effort that you all aren't appreciating, but I'm fucking getting there. Okay.
The government tried to stop me, but I'm still here.
Well, look, I'll just say it's a delightful tangent, but my point is I'm disappointed with myself as a man because when the moment came, you have no other options. You're just there. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like writing a fucking book report now. I don't know what the meaning of the baby at the end of Grapes of Wrath is. I remember my teacher making fun of me at the end of my presentation. I remember Miss Burke, God rest her soul, went, quote, well, I guess that means the baby's born for America and is America. That is how you capstoned you had a whole quarter to prepare, Robert. And that was the prepared bit that you wrote down. It was like, God damn, just give me the C already. That literally occurred. I was at the podium. We had like a love-hate thing. I got the most attention she's ever given to anybody. Mr. Burke, the Latin teacher, passed me in my Latin class, even though I couldn't speak a word of Latin, and then died the very next day. So I never knew. I never knew if it was dementia or like a final good deed. But I'll give him credit. Who cares? Brain makes you do good things, makes you do bad things. So anyway, I don't like fucking book reports. I don't like writing. The whole reason I got an MFA is because you can just like basically beatbox and be like, I don't know, it's kind of like Faulkner, right? Subjects and predicates. Who knows? And now I'm put in a position where I'm like, yeah, my dick is pretty
turgid
based. I don't know what. So I realized what I want is you guys must be Brett. Brett, I heard you're a pro sexter. You're like this is a man that
correct.
Yeah. Brad,
yes. Speaking of punching out of his weight class, Brett is a legendary. Well, Brett is the short guy at the bar who's done MMA for 10 years and just is sitting there waiting to get into a fight.
This is Lord Byron ass just waiting for a lady to go unaccompanied. He just rolls in there like forsook. That's what I need, though. This is
that is how I lead. Forsook is how I start all my sex.
Sex or sexts?
Have you seen
all the above?
Have you seen the King's Speech?
Yes.
Yeah.
A movie from 15 years ago.
Yeah,
okay, I have not, but as you know, I don't watch movies, but I do watch the 10 clips that they put on YouTube of the movie. Like I've never seen The Sopranos. I don't know anything about Game of Thrones except every house and lore ever from watching videos by like Alt-Shift-X and So I know enough to know in the King's Speech there's a scene where King George or whatever is like, I can't give the speech, like he stutters or whatever. And then the guy's like, you can, you're in your head. And he puts like classical music. He goes, read the speech now. And he puts loud classical music over the King's. And then he reads it and he's still stuttering. But then he plays the recording back to him and he's like, listen. And it's like perfect Beethoven. And he spoke clearly the whole time because being unable to hear himself and be self-conscious in the moment and monitor and freak out without that sort of level of like self-hate and self-criticism. He was free to actually express himself, and I feel like maybe that's like maybe like I need that with sexting.
Are you saying that Brett has no self-awareness at all, and that's why he's so good at sending pictures of his dick to?
No, I mean that's certainly, it's not hurting his ability to do that.
Rookie mistake going straight for the dick pic. See, this is why you guys are failing.
See, look, this guy is basically, who said Courtly Love is dead? This guy's waiting until the fucking second Mega Rose or whatever before just flinging hog down the DM. No, but that's what I want, Brett. I want you to I want you to go like, you can do it, Robert. You can do it. And I'm like, but my dick isn't based. And you're just like, just listen. And then we listen back to the recording.
I'm just gonna play porn at max volume, and you'll be like, "Oh, it's so easy to talk about my dick now."
I can't. I'm going to copulate, and then I listen back, and it's just like, Nuzzles pounces on you, ooh, you so warm. Couldn't help but notice your bulge from across the floor. Nuzzles your necky wecky, unzips your baggy ass pants. Oof, baby, you so musky. Take me home, pet me, and make me yours, and don't forget to stuff me. See me wag my whittle baby tail, all for your bulgy wolgy. Kissies and lickies your neck, I hope daddy likies. Nuzzles and wuzzles your chest, I be getting thirsty. Hey, I got a little lich, you think you can help me? Only 7 inches long, ooh-woo, please adopt me. Pause your bulge as I lick my lips, ooh-woo, punish me. About to hit them with furry shit. He don't see it coming. I can't do it!
I can listen to you say ooh-woo in the serious tone forever.
By the way,
just like you're reading a novel. And ooh-woo, kissy, licky.
Ooh-woo, please adopt me. Would that be good? Would that be a good sex to receive from a 7-foot Slavic man?
I mean, it depends on the person receiving it.
Yeah. You know what? I'll be honest. There's someone there that's like, this show's a real cut up. Copy, cut, paste. That's what you get if you Google sexting copy pasta. Anyway, life is bleak and I'll die alone. I think that's all. No. Oh, okay. Last thing. This, I swear, this is just real quick. So this is not a joke. Like I really am like, I fucking hate this. I hate that I have to communicate in text. I don't like any of this. I'm uncomfortable. And so I was like, I just need to get some reps in. Maybe I'll pop open a FetLife account like the old days when I was like sex dorking, right? And just throw it away, right? Like we could just get some reps in. There's fucking always freaks. It'll be no problem. And I realize that the party's sort of over. Like it has the vibe of like MySpace now, you know?
Oh,
like someone who's just like, hey, guess who just made my top 6 or whatever? And it's just like in 2021. Did the rest die? You know, just like extremely janky, like the frames, like an Angel Fire site, you know, like it is not like World of Warcraft, like, buddy, it's time for a graphical update, but they're not doing it. And I'm glad they didn't, because this is a real fucking thing I saw. Someone's profile, their FetLife profile, they put their PC specs in it. You know, like in their signature, you know, like dorks on the internet, like Tom's Hardware Forum will be like, yeah, I got a water cooler or whatever. So just reflexively, someone did that in their SIG, but because of they put too much on the lines, the frames like broke it. So it intersected with the main text. So I got to read a line of text at the bottom of someone's post that literally said, I wrote it down, said, interests. Age play, anal fisting, AMD Ryzen 9 5950X 16 core 4.9 gigahertz CPU, bondage, chastity, cuckolding, cock and ball torture, diapers, electrostimulation, EVGA, supernova, G6 750 watt PSU, feet, FUTA, forced orgasm, G skill, Trident's RGM, illuminated 32 gig, 32,000 megahertz RAM, humiliation, Shibari, nylons, and NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3070 with 8 gigabytes, Tentacles, Vor, Whip, Wax, Water Sports, and Windows 10 official. So, laying it all out there. But I think we can move on. Brett, I have a food story for you.
You know I love food stories.
So in San Fran, they made a $72 fried rice. Did you see this?
For a bit?
Kind of. But, there's a great book if you are Gen X and lonely called Subculture. Basically, it's written in the 90s. It's about how, obviously, capitalism is increasing its ability and need to co-opt subcultures before they have a chance to express themselves. So really, the fear of like capitalism coming in and making everyone sell out and taking the subculture, you don't have to worry about that. That's no longer a fear because your subculture will never fucking make it to maturity, right? There's no one is coming and stealing your chickens because they're fucking stealing your eggs, right? And so is it a bit? Kind of. A San Francisco Vietnamese place decided to make what they literally called the douchebag fried rice, right? So like, Brett, what would you put in the douchebag fried rice? Like, you're tasked with this at a restaurant. You have $72 per fucking bowl of fried rice. What's going in there?
If I'm just jacking up the price, gold leaf, because fucking rich people love spending money on that. Wagyu
beef.
that's not actually Wagyu, or Kobe.
Yeah.
Kobe that's not actually Kobe, just so you can charge a high price for it. Some interesting seafood. So something where you say like super fresh tuna or salmon from like someplace far away.
This guy knows his douchebag food ingredients.
You can put saffron in there and really jack the price up.
Saffron, vanilla bean is another. Not that you put it in this one.
Caviar, truffles.
Truffle oil is what you fry it in.
Fancy crab.
Crab roe is another one. Yep.
So basically,
an endangered animal or two. Pick one.
Yeah. A truth-telling white anchor is my so they made the douchebag fried rice in San Fran, which is like, buddy, what you caught exactly the animal with the bait you put out. A $72 fried rice in fucking San Fran. And so people are like, wow, that's great. I want it. I'm going to eat it and I'm going to Instagram it. And they started
to the nth degree there.
Yeah. Well, so it got so popular now that they had to shut down the douchebag fried rice because too many douchebags were coming in, slowing service, requesting it. And they're like, guys, we don't even have this is not part of our normal service. We don't have like reliable fucking truffle gold flake and whatever caviar shit. Like, we don't have the ability to have someone running 8 different stations to make this for you. Like, they were doing 25, 30 of these a night or whatever, and just that was too much. So they had to cancel the douchebag fried rice for reason too many douchebags. It destroyed the rest of our restaurant.
It's amazing. Also, San Francisco, that checks out. Like, that would be the city I'd choose that to happen.
They should have just like kept selling them whatever the fuck they had and telling them, yeah, that's what it is. Like, and it's like, an egg, a green onion, some chicken from Aldi. Like, here you go, douchebag. There you go, $72. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Guys, I'm sorry. I have to cut in here. And I just want you to know right now I'm standing up. I'm not going to stand up, frankly, because I know this I've got a real like Ben Burgess, like I'm interviewing, somebody that once spoke to Michael Brooks sort of vibe going. I know up here it's all business, but I'll be honest, it's basketball shorts, dick out. So I won't stand up, but I will turn. Shut up, bitch. I'm doing important man stuff. I will turn and fake harass a flight attendant because I am now living the newsroom scene where the great man the newsman stands up with the news that Osama bin Laden was killed today. For him, in that scene, Sorkin's newsman stands up and he sees that the Delta guy or United guy has a little 9/11 badge, and he goes, "I want you to know. I want you to be the first to know we killed Osama bin Laden for you." Shut up, bitch! This goddamn flight attendant keeps telling me I can't stand up and do monologues. It's a very moving scene. And so I want to look at you two right now, your dumb Appalachian hick faces. That's your United.
Rude but accurate.
That's your United badge that I'm noticing on your lapel. And I want you to know, I want you to be the first to receive the news that Bobby Bowden has died today.
Oh, shit.
At age 91. A great man is recruiting 16-year-old speedsters in heaven now. Guys, do we have any thoughts about the great man Bobby Bowden as we wrap up the main section here?
Bobby Bowden's in hell.
You remember when he retired and everybody was like, "Oh man, he's not going to get the greatest winning coach of all time because of Joe Paterno."
Yeah,
got the last laugh on that one, bitch.
Yeah, that was like the Usual Suspects, right? Where it's just like, well, they've got him dead to rights, and then Bobby Bowden had a secret plan.
I remember when Bowden used to get shit because, like, God forbid, he would recruit people who would like shoplift and he didn't give a shit. And then the Paterno stuff comes out and it's like, yeah, maybe shoplifting wasn't that big a deal after all.
Peter Warwick stole some shoes. Lavernius Coles was there and got kicked off the team. Joe Paterno covered up rape for 15 years.
Yeah, it's just...
They gave
one of these is important,
Joe Paterno his wins back. Like, the NCAA reinstated them.
That's a massive asterisk, though. I don't give a fuck. You cover up child rape, you don't go in the Hall of Fame, period.
I can't emphasize enough how, like, it was honestly, to make a political tie, it's a little bit like the Cuomo thing. I'll come back to it. Where, like, the Joe Paterno thing, when Bobby Bowden retired, there was a little bit of like, our coach is the best coach ever because we're the best school ever, Florida State, obviously. And I would be really convenient if Joe Paterno was not still walking around getting wins and competing with Bobby Bowden on like the records and greatest coach ever sort of legacy stuff. Like that was in the air. And so when the horrible, like literal grooming, pedophilia, like sex ring stuff came out, obviously a lot of people in Tallahassee and across the nation thought that was absolutely abhorrent, and how far are we really going for sports? And, you know, how could Joe Paterno not know? And, you know, it's pretty fucking egregious Jimmy Savile type stuff, and you hate to see it happen. But if it is going to happen,
let's go Noles.
Let's go Noles. That's a big Bobby Bowden first down.
Chief Osceola loved it.
That is, you know what's sad is that at one point the white man who does red face to be Chief Osceola, the mascot, it's just always just a white freshman who does it. At some point he probably had to be like, disgusting what's happening in Penn State. He had to shed a single tear, but not as part of the LARP for one reason. Florida State fucking sucks.
The last book I actually got to read for pleasure was What Hath God Wrought, which is about America in the 1830s. It's a pretty hefty tome, but they did a lot of Chief Osceola. Am I saying that right? Is it Osceola or Osceola?
You think we're the ones to ask?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. But
the mascot himself is just a guy who's ranked like silver platinum in Call of Duty before he got the job.
Yeah,
he's 19.
All the white people of Florida State call it Osceola. That doesn't answer your question.
No, he doesn't. He literally doesn't know if he's from Brandon or Bradenton. He's from there. That's the guy. That's our Chief Osceola.
That's such a great local cut, by the way.
I genuinely don't know where Brett is from. Gun to my head, it's one of them.
I know somebody worked
people from the other one
in Bradenton.
Yeah.
I know
and neither of them are towns.
Yeah.
Why? What's the purpose is literally just because the people. Here's why Brandon and Bradenton are different towns. The guy in the 50s who's in charge of redlining got tired of having to stretch to the far end of the fucking ordinance map, and just went, just fucking, that's someone else's problem now, and just assigned it. There is no existential precursor other than racism for these two towns.
Oh, I mean, all of Florida, yeah.
It's just like, don't put towns anyway. Sorry, bro. Where's
Well, like Osceola is in this, and he was like incredibly well respected all over America as this great general in chief, and he ended up finally getting captured by Andrew Jackson, I think, and he was thrown in a jail in Charleston and died, and it was like a huge scandal. Like people were like, "How the fuck did you let this guy die? He was badass as hell." And so that's why he's like I think he's the Native American with the most parks and things named after him, because everyone was like, yeah, our bad. You were too cool to kill. We're sorry. Like that was.
No, he really was sort of the Ned Stark character. I'm sorry. I've been playing a lot of Crusader Kings Game of Thrones mod.
Know a lot about this show you've never watched. Just saying.
I know it's sick. It's because if I sit down and watch it, then it's like fucking boring. But if I'm playing a mod in which I can marry Cersei Lannister, who by the way seems chill. I don't know what the problem is. That's a very different thing. Oh god, now I've fucking lost my god damn it.
Osceola is like the Ned Stark.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, because as you said, so when you go to Florida State, there's a big like granite statue with a granite-based bronze statue of Osceola with a flaming spear, and it says "Unconquered." Because the thing about the Seminoles, and particularly Osceola, is Andrew Jackson couldn't get it done. Nobody could get it done. Have you been to Florida? Don't fight there. Frankly, Seminole people, don't fucking live there. It's not good. Nobody should be down here. The Gators shouldn't be down here. This is like fucking Jurassic Park, but all the Raptors are guys in like F-150s and 4x4s who are fucking hammered drunk, and you're gonna
all the Raptors are guys in F-150 Raptors.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't the F-150 a Raptor now?
It's fucking A to B, guys. Let's go A to C. We didn't buy the UCB improv book for the A to B thing. But no, so Chief Osceola is a big deal because he was not conquered. Like the way that they got his ass is they went, okay, you know what? We surrender. America surrenders. Like you won. Like it's come on in for the terms. And at like the peace deal, they just locked him up and then fucking
they did war crimes. We did war crimes.
They literally did a fake summit. That's like if at Appomattox, like Robert E. Lee was just like, boom, got your ass. Oh, war's still on. We did that, and then we elected that guy president.
We have a good history of doing shit like that.
That guy's on the $20 bill right now. Every time you spend a 20, be like, that's the guy that he called the fake peace conference and then murked the opposing general.
Yeah. I mean, we fucking celebrate Truman. I was watching some World War II stuff recently, and my favorite thing about this Truman celebration is he basically did the same thing. The Japanese wanted to surrender, and he just refused. And the day he dropped the nukes, the Japanese were less concerned with that than they were the fact that the Soviets just wiped out their entire army in Manchukuo. Like, they were just like, oh, we're fucked now. Fucking Stalin's in this shit. We need to give up immediately. But they had been trying to surrender for months. They were just trying to negotiate terms the whole time. And Truman was like, if I swing my big dick around, maybe Stalin will be scared of the atom bomb that he already knows about and is stealing the information on right now.
As we speak. Yeah. Andrew Jackson had some fucking like baller lines prior to his presidency, though. At the Battle of New Orleans, at the last second, they got a dispatch of like soldiers or militia from Kentucky, and they were like, didn't have shoes, didn't have guns. And he's looking at him. He was like, I've never known someone from Kentucky that didn't have a jug of whiskey, a pack of cards, and a pistol. Who the fuck are you people?
I like that he was doing roast comedy as the general. Yeah. It's like, hey, how about, can we hire a quartermaster? Y'all some broke ass Kentucky militia. This is some Minutemen.
Andrew Jackson's
they sent
army.
The 32nd men, it looks like.
Andrew Jackson's army at New Orleans was made up of like some random ass militia, a bunch of slaves that he'd promised freedom to, and a bunch of pirates that he just like hired because he didn't have any ships. And once they won the battle, which he
betrayed everybody.
He betrayed everybody. Well, with the pirates, he was like, go.
It's like, I'll kill you later. Yeah,
right back into slavery. Native Americans came back and killed them later. Like, the white people, the Kentuckians, he just killed them out of spite.
Well, he was right on one at least. Then
read this for Henry Clay, like whatever. I don't know where I'm going.
Come
anyway,
here,
that book is really
man.
good. You should read it.
Young man, do you believe in Henry Clay's assertion as to the independence and celestial sovereignty of our way of life and our new neoclassical American order? Well, that's good to hear, son. That's good to hear. Well, let me then just ask you, what are those? You look at those. Oh, they are moccasins. Very good. Continue on. Continue forward to the battle, man. This guy's amazing. You roasted my shoes and then fucking gave me typhoid from a well. Anyway, yeah, okay. That's we're at a fucking hour.
Oh, that's the main.
Yeah. So I want to say how Joe Paterno is like Andrew Cuomo in a second. So here,
I do want to talk about Cuomo, so that'll be on the bonus.
Yeah. We actually have news stories and shit over the last week. So
yeah, I don't care about news unless it's something in which someone I hate is suffering, and that's what we've got.
Can I interject with something I would like to mention before I gotta get out of here?
Yeah.
So Joe Biden.
Wait, no. Hold on. You're giving us fucking at least. We're gonna hit the thing. I want to get your Nina Turner fucking shit because I don't. Yeah, let's go. Do your thing.
I just want a quick hot take in a second.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
So hit the button.
Hold on. I'm gonna hit the thing and then you're gonna come back in the bonus, guys. We're going to the bonus. You can get it on fucking Patreon. Here we go. Fucking outro. All right, fucking bonus episode time. What happened with Nina Turner, Mr. Election Guy? Let's go.
Oh, Nina Turner depended her campaign upon people that don't frequently vote, and then when the DNC decided to flood Ohio with millions of dollars, it turns out those people were more swayed by those ads. I don't know.
Who are the people that don't usually vote? Who are activated? Didn't she have a huge lead? What the fuck is she doing?
Yes.
Well, why doesn't she have money if she's doing polls. Goldman Sachs podcasts? Yeah, what's going on?
Don't release internal polls that show you're up 65%. Right. That was a mistake. Don't come out. I mean, we all can understand it. Don't come straight out and say that, voting for Joe Biden is like eating a plate full of shit.
Are you not supposed to say that? I guess if you're running to be a member of the party that he is the figurehead and central executive authority of, right. That's probably not good.
Right. I mean, even as obviously Nina Turner to be a fantastic member of the House of Representatives, I would have loved it. There's sort of an element of you have a lot of name brand power, keep your head down a little bit. And then once the DNC just decided to put millions of dollars into it, there was nothing she could do. It reminded me sort of similarly of the stories you heard from Austin, Texas, after South Carolina, where all these people that had never voted before had reached out to, had been found by the Bernie Sanders campaign, had been registered to vote, had done all these things. And the Bernie Sanders campaign had got them there and drove them to the polls and got them water and did everything for them, ended up voting for Biden. And they said, well, why did you do all that? And they're like, well, I think Biden's going to win. And that was because of the news blitz after South Carolina, right? That 5 straight days of Biden is
talking about Biden after Super Tuesday, right?
Right. And so Nina Turner ran this incredible campaign and then got tons of people registered, did all these internal polling, showed that she was crushing this other person. And then all of a sudden the DNC just flooded it. And that's now worked twice in the last 8 months or so.
But they can only do those things if you have it's the only thing happening that day. Don't do special elections if you're progressive. Jesus Christ, either fly under the radar where they don't notice you at all, or run when they have to split their money, because otherwise they are going to swing in and crush you. And that's why who gives a shit? Nobody's solving anything for Congress anyway.
I didn't want to say you need to lay low, because that's not a great
Don't draw
verbiage
undue
thing to
attention,
say.
though.
Yeah, don't draw attention to yourself, Nina Turner. Like, no, Nina Turner, she's outspoken. She has opinions. She has ideas. Like, she should be that way. But at the same time, you're absolutely right. Don't do this during a special election, because instead of, it's not like Congress has anything else to worry about right now than crushing an insurgent leftist out of Ohio. That's going to change fucking nothing, because you lose the House in next November anyway. Like, who gives a fuck? Madison Cawthorn's going to be the next Speaker of the House. Who cares?
Yeah. Special elections always have the most money in them too, because they don't have any place else to put it at that moment, right? And so it's easy to justify spending $100 million on a John Ossoff fucking House campaign in Georgia after Trump gets elected and pretending it's like indicative of something important than it is when everyone is running at the same time. You can't put a ton of money into this like random fucking dude that's not interesting.
I mean, hey, you just said John Ossoff, who is now a senator, so maybe, whatever, not Rob Portman, who are the fucking Sheldon Brown or Sheldon, whatever, I can't think right now. Whatever next, like, dead-end senator from Ohio decides to drive his car off a bridge or whatever, Nina Turner can rise. She's built her small community. No, she hasn't. That's
Look,
not going to happen.
I bring it up. Look, in general, I'm not a big electoralism person. I understand that right now the DSA is having their national convention. I fully believe that it will be better than the cringe, embarrassing, terrible one that got made fun of hugely. I think they're doing good things. I'm glad they're doing that work over there so that then other people can do this work over here. Everyone figure it out. I did some mutual aid today, and if you're out there doing get out the vote for Nina Turner, I think that's good too. But
feels like a waste of time to me.
I wouldn't have done it. But that's because I'm in my lane. Everyone fill your lane out. You know what I mean? But there are a lot of people I noticed in the wake of the Nina Turner loss. It felt like this was sort of one of those, like in the anime after the big climax, the person's protege takes a shot at like the big bad or something. It's the Final Fantasy post main story epilogue sort of thing, and a lot of people were really melting down where they're just like, well, I liked AOC, and then she's too foreign policy blobby. Well, I like Bernie, but he played it too nice. And yeah, I didn't like that Nina Turner didn't come to the Medicare for All march for whatever reasons, good or bad, she might have. I don't like the Goldman Sachs thing, but you know what? Like Nina Turner, you do know what you're getting. We always say that, someone who can talk shit to politicians and despite being a politician, sort of rabble rouse, like, if she won, that could have been a little boost to the electoralism sort of DSA, Justice Democrat group. And when she didn't win, my understanding that early on internal polling had a 60% lead.
It was in the 60s.
She had something like a 2-1 money lead, and then she ended up losing the money race like 3-1 because in the last 2 weeks, as Brad said, a whole bunch of fucking like a bunch of cash went to I forget I guess some mostly white neighborhood that isn't normally activated on this. Was that what it was, Brad?
I can't remember the specifics of it at all, but it was egregious. It was
and so there's a lot of people right now that are sort of just like, this is the fucking straw, which like convenient. First of all, like, we'll see, right? Everyone says that. We all remember the like Ben Dixon, like, yo, I'm about to go Super Saiyan on Biden when this is over. You get my vote and my wrath, motherfucker. And then immediately it's just like, give FDR time. If we don't have emotional intelligence for our president, how can our president be emotionally intelligent with us? And you're just like, God damn. but there's a lot of
the bonus, right? Kill yourself. Like,
I didn't say that.
That's a rough one.
Jesus fucking Christ. What is wrong with you fucking cowards?
It's really rough. But so there's a lot of people that are at least saying they're like, well, you know what? I'm fucking out. And this
God bless them if true.
This is the same where like when Eric Adams, essentially for all intents and purposes won the NYC Democratic line for mayor, people were just like, yep, I'm blackpilled now. And I think it's important to, whether it's Nina Turner or Eric Adams, who literally went on Bill Maher and got his dick sucked, which was weird, very weird. He also had a little slip where he went, "Look, I'm just your normal, everyday Republican. I mean, citizen." Because he's only been hanging out at like Republican dinners and stuff. Anyway, delightful weirdo. I can't wait for the rest of the country. Look, my stack of representation is Eric Adams, New York, fucking Cuomo was the state, and Biden. It's just all blue weirdos from top to bottom. Bless them. But so like a lot of people in Nina Turner, when she lost, they really are just like, I fucking give up. I don't know what to do. Brad, I know you got to go. This like lying low strategy. My question is that's one of those things that we intuit that could be wrong. Like I remember Bernie's staff all turned on each other, as I think was expected when he failed in his attempt to electorally overcome Biden. And there was some takes, the Jacobin, whatever the fuck, like, oh, he should have been nicer, oh, he should have been more radical, that sort of thing. Because what he did, we don't know how the alternative would go, but what he did get him crushed by like the full force of the neoliberal media apparatus. And the countertake was nothing he did. It's not his behavior that was punished. That is the liberal idealist take on how politics work. He behaved poorly, and so a just media had to go spank him on his bottom. If Nina Turner was the most behaved person on earth, her policies on things, both foreign and domestic, wasn't that always going to happen? Like if she was a perfect angel and she did, I don't know, maybe she got on a JP Morgan sponsored podcast too. Maybe she did all the fucking, she went on the Hillary circuit.
Hillary podcast.
Wouldn't they still, like, if she actually has the policies she has, wasn't she always going to get fucking wrecked? And if it is the case that actually would have worked, would that have worked at the cost of making her an effective policymaker? Because now you're saying as a necessary and sufficient condition to getting in is you have to win, but also defer. So if you've already shown an amenability to deference before you got in, why would you start wilding out now?
Sure, but I don't mean that. I don't mean it, but like politically, when you like by laying low necessarily, because I'm not saying like change the way you behave or be yourself. What got you to where you are in a position where you are substantially in the lead, that worked for a reason. What I'm saying is that there are obviously forces that are acting outside of the personal of like politician versus politician, politics policy versus policy, and so to sort of dodge those, you cannot run, like Brett said, in a special election because there's nothing else going on. You are the only person there. For example, like, AOC ran on some radical things. She unseated the number 2 House Democrat in the process. And she did this because she was running in 2018 and no one was paying a whole lot of attention because it was the anti-Trump election and there was stuff going on all over the country. And even the guy, I mean, they were interviewing him before and, they had bad polling. That the same, I'm forgetting this now, but like the same, another primary guy in New York City won because the DNC's polling was so bad and they weren't paying any attention to it. But
Torres.
She was able to sort of sneak in under the radar, and before everyone realized what was happening, it was too late. Nina Turner started the victory parade months ago, right? The DNC had time to look at this, like, how can we fuck her over? And they did. They went right for it. And so, you can be that because once you're in Congress, there's really not much they can do to you unless you're Katie Porter and they can take you out for that.
Yeah, you can talk about economic justice, and then it doesn't matter how many fucking fawning Slate articles you have with you and your marker board. That technocrat needs to sit her ass down and shut up. Very empowering until you go after actual economic policy.
But like Ilhan Omar, they've tried to take her out once or twice now, and they haven't been able to do it. They can't primary her. They supported a primary challenger for her after saying they were never going to do that for Democratic sitting candidates. Ilhan Omar is the reason they won the 2020 election. It's the reason they won Minnesota. Because of her.
Really?
Turns out incumbency power works for everybody.
Yeah.
Which is why they want to kill you before you get in. Because once you get in, then you have the incumbency bonus.
Then you got to get them to sell out like AOC has done. I don't think Nina Turner would. I don't think that's her personality.
You're an AOC sellout.
No, I'm just throwing shit. I can't. Yeah, I'm too horrified by my own state's House representative members to really focus on New York at the moment.
Wow. Yeah, that's look at that backpedal when he comes for the queen.
I mean, do something. For any of them, do something. Hold anything up. Do fucking anything. I just like at what point the Nina Turner thing with people getting tired of it and like this is the line. Like, okay, I'm glad you know what your line was and it's finally been crossed. I am happy about that. For everybody else, where the fuck is your line? How much of this shit do you need to see? How many examples do you need before you go like, perhaps we're all going to die in a hellfire of the boomers making if we don't do something different than this.
I would like to point out that it just came out this week that Nancy Pelosi's top advisor for student loan relief or abolition, or whatever you want to call it, is a massive, just typical financial real estate type asshole from San Francisco who wrote her a memo that was very, very lightly researched and referenced. And he notoriously did not even realize people were living with student loan debt when he wrote it. And that's where we are. That's. But hey, we got a moratorium until February of 2022.
Yeah, I was going to say that is some actual just pimp shit, and I don't, I'm not saying that in a positive way. And usually, when we talk about pimping on this show, it's a positive, empowering thing. It's a job, honestly, that historically has been devoid of women, and I'd like to see more girl bosses pimping. Pimping could be a good thing, but. Hold on, God damn! I lost my train of thought thinking about just someone in like a feather boa and a big zebra print a jacket, like a girl boss pimp, and then I realized I just invented drag shows. that's a great parallel. My eureka moment here.
You're talking about Pelosi's advisor.
Yes, it's very pimp because it's like a move I've done before, right? Which is like they extended the student loan moratorium, right? So student loans are not dischargeable in bankruptcy due to Joe Biden. He's the fucking Delaware senator. Like, this is what he does. So you can't get out. Medical loans, other stuff, you can get out. There's student loans. It's very important, the system and the way we enter the labor or enter the workforce, that you have fucking debt-saddled people that can never escape.
But it's clearly not important. Like, we haven't paid them in 2 years, or close to a year and a half.
Yeah. Look, financially, none of it makes any fucking sense. But so he made it so there's no way to get rid of it. So like, if you can't pay it, it just balloons interest wise forever, which is great in terms of like financialization and trading it as an asset that's entirely devoid of any tethering to real world value by any fucking metric, however described. So the principal will just balloon. There's nothing you can fucking do with it. If you default, it doesn't fucking matter. They put a wage garnishment on. Thank you, Joe Biden. And all of that has been paused by Trump and now extended. It was about to go with the eviction moratorium. It's been extended to January. So if you've been getting X% out of your paycheck taken every single time, now it's a little bit longer. And I've seen people be like, hey, I know Dick Durbin is also fucking looking at not student loan forgiveness, but what if we let you go bankrupt? That's sort of
Thank you, Dick Durbin.
Yeah. And this is that Nancy Pelosi fucking pimp shit where like y'all created the problem, and now I'm supposed to thank you for you not doing the problem momentarily. It's where like I would be living with someone and I would just destroy the bathroom, as is my right. That's called Slavic birthright, and you can get evidence of it, I would say, every day
at any
every
bus
other day.
station outside of
yeah. If you see a guy with fucking a tool kilt sagging his pants over his ass while he grabs his hole and gingerly fucking Chopin steps into a public restroom, that's Polish birthright right there. Don't interrupt.
No, I was gonna say that the saying you can go bankrupt is like to steal a Malcolm X quote for this. That's the like, if you put a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, that's not fucking progress. Like, if you take it out all the way, it's still not progress. Like, you allowing me to go bankrupt is like 9 inches to 8 inches. It's like, who fucking cares? You're still dying from the fucking meat wound.
Going back to sexting,
FetLife. Yeah, I was gonna say if I've learned anything from FetLife, there's a lot of fucking people that care about that distinction.
The minute I say the word inches, both of you just start salivating.
No, we were looking at each other like fucking
Use a better word.
Jokes.
This is like a fucking high noon showdown. Like I wasn't touching my iron, but I was fucking reaching. You know what I mean? I'm waiting for you to make the move. And then you notice we both fucking ran in like prospectors going through the saloon doors, like come. No, my point is just that like in a relationship, I'd destroy the bathroom, it'd be dirty, and I'd be like, you know what? I love you so much. Like I'm gonna go ahead and the bathroom will be my responsibility now. I'm gonna keep it clean. And then I do, and it's just like, oh, thank you so much. And it's just like all I'm doing is momentarily tamping down my worst behavior. And that's what, and I don't deserve credit for it. If anything, it should be evidence that I'm not helpful and right for you. But when it's a Democratic Party, you know, that's the key. That's my new ability. That's how I'm going to save my relationships. I'm still going to be abusive, but I'm just going to change my name to Democrat Party, and then you have to fucking put up with me.
No, you got to find a girl with a really bad ex. So no matter what you do, you can be just like, well, I'm not him.
That's the key.
Now I'm going to the bathroom. Come clean it in 20 to 30 minutes.
That's a beautiful traditional Slavic relationship, and I wish people that choose that in life exactly the best. You got time for Cuomo, or you got to go?
I gotta go.
All right. Oh, I don't know. How do you fucking?
I don't know.
Do whatever you're gonna do.
Okay. Well, weird technical errors aside,
we're back.
As I was trying to say.
Look, as a cishet white man, it's not my role to take accountability. So instead, I'll blame someone who is in a position where they can't really defend themselves. Brad, who isn't here right now, who had to go tubing. He said, "I'm going Jeffrey Tubin." Not just at the beginning. You know, this is sort of like George Lucas. You know, it rhymes. We're back to the beginning again, which. Damn it, that's a reference Brad would have loved. You know? But again, he's Jeffrey Tubin right now. And again, that's something he said to us to no laughter, just sort of staring through the camera directly. After the call failed, he just sort of blank-facedly kept looking at us and saying, "Get it? Jeffrey Tubin." We said, "We know, Brad." And he said, "The masturbator." And we said, "Yeah, we know." And then he went, "The icon." And we're like, oh, okay. And then he said, "To God." And that's where, at that point, we needed to move on without Brad. And that's what this portion of the episode will be. Brett was about to, I haven't talked to Brett about Nina Turner, in as much as talking about Nina Turner does anything. I mean, look, we're not doing politics right now. We understand that. But I haven't seen my friend in a while. And I'm curious because my read, not to provoke you here, but my read is a little bit that maybe your heart was broken before. That you came along for the Liz Warren train and you stayed a little bit longer than you should have. And now someone, Nina Turner, who you loved. I mean, Nina Turner very much is among the certain sort of like Bernie-crat, you know, like Majority Report communists, right? Like that is your Bernie was your crew, AOC's in there, the squad, and then Nina Turner is just the one that'll literally say like "eat shit, Democrats." Mm-hmm. So I'm a big fan of Nina Turner. You're a big fan of Nina. So what's going on, and are you sure you aren't just overreacting to being burned before?
No, I like to consider myself a realist. Like the Warren thing, even when we were talking about it, I kept saying like, based on how she goes after bankers, that's the thing I like about her. If she continues with that, yeah, okay. She's still not my first choice. This was like super early on. I was like, I'm obviously still going to go for Bernie over her because he's clearly better across the board. But if she continues that, and then she just consistently sold out, and we were like, all right, well, there's your answer. You now have the data points to make a more accurate assessment, right? Is how I look at it. Is once they show themselves, just fucking believe them.
And so where were you? Are you saying that Nina Turner showed herself by your metric before the election or through
No,
loose,
no,
or where were you at?
I always liked Nina Turner because yeah, she won just being a rabble rouser tends to be the kind of person I like in politics.
Yeah.
But it's sort of two things. On the one hand, it's sort of irrelevant what she does now because I don't think that you're going to get anything done with electing people. Period. Nothing's going to happen. Right? Absolutely nothing. This isn't even. I like again. I don't consider myself black pilled. I just consider a realist. Like,
Well, where do you mean? What do you mean nothing's going to get done with electing anyone? Because I've said before that uh, the Democratic Party, if your plan is going through the Democratic Party, which again, shout out to the DSA. I hope you have a successful convention. I love being wrong, right? Because that means that the right ideas have been in the heads of people way more confident and thoughtful, and then you
mhm,
can just give it to me, and I can get on the path,
right.
right? So I hope electoralism is good, but the reform the Democratic Party thing, I'm totally out. I think probably step one has to be getting rid of, like, you're getting rid of the Democratic Party and the, or at least the public's current engagement with it as like a political entity. That
Mhm.
shit has to go before you can fight fascism. Like that's historically
Well, I
been
mean,
how it
because they are
worked.
basically fascists. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're a very certain sort of like force multiplier for fascism. They
Oh
run
yeah.
a very sort of effective screening defense.
Oh yeah.
But so when you say it doesn't matter voting, are you talking about American party politics or in general?
I think in the US it's irrelevant. I can't speak to other systems. I think like there's issues in the UK as well. But I think in America at this point, like the voting process, you can make an argument for local. So we'll say maybe local is pulled out of this, but like any sort of national or statewide, it's fucking irrelevant. Because those people aren't gonna change anything. Like pretty clearly, we will not get any needed necessary adjustments
So like
in time. In
so
time.
any there's no House rep that you think could make a difference.
I have yet to see one. I'm happy to be proven wrong like you. Show me. Show me someone pulling everything down and dragging their heels in and holding up everything until they get desperately needed results. But it won't happen, right? This isn't like me politics chat. This is me just looking at the pattern. How many times do I need to watch them take power and go like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I see what's going on here." Nothing. That's what's going on. It's fucking nothing. And it's not. I was joking with somebody the other day about like the accelerationist thing because they were calling it
Yeah.
accelerationist, which I think is funny because accelerationist. The reason it's a bad thing is because the assumption that accelerationist is pushing for things to get worse, right? In order for them to get better, but they're willing to sacrifice they're willing to allow all that pain, right? All of these people to suffer while they want things to get worse. I am saying the baseline is the worst it gets because the baseline is we all die in a fucking climate catastrophe. So it doesn't get worse than that. If you go, oh, what about fascism? It's like dying, everybody dies is already the worst case scenario. There's nothing worse than that. I don't fucking care what you have to throw out. Ruining life on the
living in
planet.
Belarus. That's worse.
Right? So
Apparently, just again, just throwing that out there. Poland takes your refugees. You're welcome.
so I at this point it's like, yeah, fucking burn this shit down. I would just like to see anyone reacting to the alarming situation all of us find ourselves in with the appropriate level of fucking, I don't know, anger, panic. I'll take anything, right? An appropriate reaction would be a great starting spot. I think part of it is just centering the U.S. as the solution to things is just where we make the mistake. It's just not
Definitely
going to
isn't.
happen. I at this point, I'm desperate for China to start making adjustments. They're slowly doing that, but like if China and the EU start aggressively pushing, maybe all of humanity doesn't get wiped out because of our fucking boomers. That'd be cool. I would really like to see that. But in this system, I don't see that occurring. So that's where I'm at electorally. So already with the Nina Turner election, I'm like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I just on the eschatological fucking end of world. That's right. Eschatological was my word of the day. It
Nice.
means pertaining to the end times, maybe like Book of Revelation stuff. But yeah, that is something where obviously, like when you have an in your mind a non-ideological liberal politics, where just like I'm
Mhm.
a la carte shopping for things. What human rights in Cuba sounds good. schools in Eastern Afghanistan where women will learn to read. Okay, that sounds good too. Weapons of mass destruction in Syria. Well, I don't like that. Well, should we go in? Like when you have that sort of like a la carte politics, there's always going to be contradictions. But I don't understand liberals that are just like, climate emergency now. We need to do, like, the science says that it's not 50 years anymore. We burned fucking 20 years waiting for it to be 50 years. Shit is on fire now. It's only going to get worse. We need to take urgent fucking action. And then the answer is like slow and steady grinding of political discourse until we have sufficient numbers in the Justice Democrats to really make the controlled opposition party that internally hates us and literally they will run candidates against you as an incumbent. They will flood your challenger with fucking PAC money. They do not want you in the party. They will fight you like capitalist antibodies the entire way, assuming you aren't captured, assuming you haven't fucking bent the knee, as it were, to the party and not rabble roused and thus slept or like snuck in under the bar, like lying low and hiding your ideology, and then you're really gonna come out and do it. Like, however it is that plan is supposed to work, I'm pretty sure it doesn't work on the timeline of climate apocalypse that everyone keeps talking about. So I said before, it's my earnest belief that there's no way to fully capture the Democratic Party and turn the apparatus toward housing, health, and labor before climate change stops the clock. If the project can be done at all, it cannot be done in the necessary time frame.
Yeah.
So that is like my simple like thesis statement. I post that online, and I will post a counter. Anders Lee, who's on an excellent show called Pod Damn America, shared the quote from Leo Panich. The tenor of the moment is to say, we've only got 5 or 10 years left because of the depth of the climate emergency. That kind of slogan was designed to get people to see how serious things are. But as a political strategy, it is a dead end. We can't think in those terms, no matter how desperate the climate situation. We have to be able to think in terms of 10, 15, or 20 years. There is fundamental class and organizational rebuilding to be done, and it takes time. So that is sort of Anders, big DSA guy. The take is like, yes, it is true that we're at the apocalypse, but if you want to organize, you have to have shit in mind for your immediate, medium, and long term.
See, this is where I'm not an organizer, so I'm sure all of those things take time. I am just pointing at the cliff and telling you someone's going to do something. If it's not you, it's going to be somebody you probably don't want to be in charge. But sooner or later, all the seams that we see that are tearing apart right now, those fully split. And then some really wild shit happens, and then maybe we all go over the cliff. Right now, that is the current motion of the vehicle, and the acceleration is fully pushed down. So great. I at this point I refuse to listen to anybody that says wait, things take time, because fuck you, we don't have time. It's a nice thought. I'm sure organizing is super difficult and takes forever, and I have no doubt on that one that takes time to build those things. I'm telling you, here we have a hard limitation. There's a new report this week that the fucking Gulf Stream is collapsing.
Oh, I saw that.
I can't emphasize enough. That's literal doomsday shit. If the Gulf Stream collapses, everyone in the northern hemisphere is fucked overnight. Like it's an instantaneous catastrophe. Like what was it? Day After Tomorrow was based off of that premise, and like they of course took it to an extreme. But a massive blizzard that hits New York in like November is a real thing that occurs if the Gulf Stream collapses, right? Maine being basically the fucking tundra is a real thing that occurs if the Gulf Stream collapses. Europe being essentially uninhabitable after a certain point, a thing that happens. Like the UK.
Whoa, let me. What's that again?
Europe being basically uninhabitable beyond a certain point.
This is the new Bond movie. It's a Polish supervillain that's trying to destroy the Gulf Streams to turn all of Western Europe into Poland, and thus our ethnic hardiness and ability to live on that land will make us superior.
Like pull up a map, and this is a fun thing to do, and look at where the UK is, and then just go east and west and go like, oh, all of these other things are so much colder. I wonder how the UK is in a frigid tundra. The Gulf Stream. That's how. Right?
Yep.
Like there's a very specific reason for it. If it is collapsing now, and this is a thing where they were like, yeah, probably 2100 is what we think. Now they're like, they can't, things are accelerating so quickly that it might even be exponential acceleration, which means the collapse might actually be more like 2030 or 2040 and not 2100, which means like it's right around the fucking corner, guys.
Yeah, the study said that there's instability, and then there's some other metric like basically, okay, how sure are we that the Gulf Stream is going to be perturbed in a negative way? And they're like, that's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
How bad is it going to be? And is it going, they're like, it is going to be within like the 50-year period. Now that could be, it gets totally perturbed within 10 years. It could be nothing. And then 40 years from now, it rips apart. It could be fucking anything. We have no idea. But the fact that we're even talking about this is not good.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Gulf Stream is like, that is how these coastal regions have the climates they do.
Yep.
Like even the random punters. My dad was in a family band that was Gulf Stream related. Like everyone down there in South Florida, it's like the fucking it's the god of people smuggling bushels of weed out of Freeport, Bahamas.
Yeah.
The Gulf Stream is what brings in the fucking the afternoon rains. It is everything in Florida, and it's also what allows England to continue existing. So, if what you're telling me is destroying the Gulf Stream fucks up Florida and the pedophile island,
honestly, Florida probably gets less fucked up than everybody north of them does.
by the time the jet stream is like actually fucked, Florida's going to be underwater. So us and the Atlanteans will be fucking dubbing it up and not giving a shit about your.
But it's like that came in, and I think like 3 weeks ago they were talking about the air jet streams, like the polar front jet, and how there have been things are so fucked up, it's just vanishing, and that's the thing that moves all weather in the northern hemisphere, like it vanishing for long periods of time, or it being so warm that it's moving up to the Arctic Circle. Like these are all cataclysmic shit when it comes to weather. So someone telling me to take time, I'm like, yeah, fuck that.
What you're saying is, if the genuine question, if Nina Turner's campaign was running outside your door, there's a get out the vote outside your door right now because she's running in your district, do you go out and get out the vote for
Nina Turner? No.
You don't?
No, fuck no.
What do you do instead?
Fucking play video games or something.
Okay.
If you're telling me I have 5 to 10 years to live, I'm going to try to enjoy a tiny little bit of it if I could.
Though? You're like, I have 5 to 10 years to live. Fuck you, Nina Turner. I got Animal Crossing.
I am available for anybody who actually seems to want to meet the moment. Is where I'm at.
What would that be? Who's that? Who's
not somebody running in for the goddamn Democratic Party?
So any Democrat you're out on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm not.
No. If genuinely, if your solution is, we elect
I don't vote
enough
for Democrats.
people,
I'm not registered.
Yeah.
I can't participate in your primary. Stop bothering me about it. It's not my business. This is a you thing. You're the fucking party of sex creeps and pedophiles.
Yeah, exactly.
Just as much more military spending and more ICE funding. So it's not my business. Fuck you.
Yeah, I don't know that any version of voting is going to move the needle right now. Right? If your idea of moving the needle is like, let's run things through a bureaucracy, my answer is probably no. Right? Any bureaucracy, I'm probably thinking like, maybe not. I don't see that happening. So no, I'm not fucking helping get out the vote. If you're saying we have a massive organization of people, or like there's a fucking groundswell of regular people realizing we're all about to be fucked, and is taking local action, yeah, give me a call. I'm in.
Well, if let's say Nina Turner, right, she's very pro Medicare for all, if you believe that or don't, right? But the idea, she's like, let me in there. I'm going to say the same shit, Brett. And wouldn't you prefer having Medicare for all in like 4 years? Then you can play video games.
I don't think she's going to make that happen by herself. I do believe she's committed to it for sure. That I actually have.
But you wouldn't do the get out the vote.
No, I don't care about that.
Do you
I don't think
care?
it's going to change anything. I'm saying even with the Medicare for all thing, she's not going to make that happen on her own. I appreciate that she'd be yelling at people about it. That is nice. That's a nice thing. Does it change anything? Doesn't seem like it.
Is there a like route, a quantum style, that gets to this is the sort of accelerationist question. Not that it matters. It's like you don't manifest it with your fucking mind, right? Like it's just, you know, your thoughts, your opinions, who cares, right? But so is the thought then that like interim DSA style, like social welfare reforms like Medicare for all, or um you know, housing justice stuff, like obviously these are definitely super important at the local
Yeah.
level, but are you saying like at the federal level that stuff is just siphoning off energy? Like, is that worthwhile to pursue
No, I think it
in the
is.
interim,
I'm
or
just
is that
saying
sort
I
of
don't
like
think
silly?
I think if your idea is you're going to get something accomplished through Congress at any point in the next decade without a fundamental radical shift in the way the country is structured, no, I don't buy that for an instant. I do think Medicare for all is wildly important. I would love to get a little bit of that in my 10-year time horizon here before I die. That'd be cool. I'd really like that. If I thought you could actually make that happen, I would vote for you. I just don't see that occurring anytime soon.
What if it
So
was a non-democratic party? Like
that's
if
more intriguing. I would listen to their argument on that one. I still don't really buy that. I mean, again, to me, it's essentially saying, even let's move the climate stuff aside. Medicare for all, it's going like, I know you're currently dying in the street, or you can't afford your cancer treatments, or you're making really horrific choices about whether or not your child can get a wheelchair. Here's my solution. I'm going to write down some paperwork and I'm going to submit it. And then it's going to get reviewed by people who are fundamentally opposed to this idea. And once we hash that out, I think we'll come. And it's like, fuck you, man.
when you
I
put it that
just,
way, that does seem insane. That like you already know there's 25 people who cards up, face up, are like, I'm insurance industry. Fuck you. You got Clyburn. He's not going to let it fucking through. Like we just saw it with Nina Turner. Like, god damn, that's bleak.
it's also just one of those things where it's like, I hate the idea of like, oh, you got to give it time. Well, the Medicare problem has been there for decades.
How
I'm
much
not. I'm
time
not
does this
saying.
need?
Yeah, I'm not. People always say from now. It takes time from now. And it's like, no, 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 no. This is a thing that has been happening for 30 or 40 years. This
No
the
memory.
point. The point that we're at is 20 to 30 years after it became obviously a problem. You're telling me it still takes more time. Well, that's already an entire lifetime for a lot of people who don't have Medicare coverage, right? They already died because you fucking didn't do shit. So no, I'm not open to that argument anymore. It's non-persuasive to me. And guess what? I have zero power in the system, so it doesn't fucking matter what I do anyway. Another great part about our system is it's irrelevant whether or not I vote. It doesn't make a difference at all in the slightest. I don't live in a state that's even remotely swingy, so you don't have to worry about it, guys. I don't affect a single fucking thing. Right? This is the system we're in. This is what I keep saying. Is it's like, show me an actual like plan that is reacting to the obvious issues we have, and it isn't, I'm going to file some shit with the people who created the problem. Like, show me anything that goes like, oh wow, maybe cops murdering people on the street requires a more aggressive response, since even national protests didn't move the needle. Perhaps we need a different course of action. I just, again, this is not like, I'm not an organizer, I don't work in politics. I'm saying as a regular fucking person, I'm sitting here going like, what is the plan? Everybody keeps telling me the same thing. Wait. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting anymore.
It would be nice if it would be easier to believe in the system, trust the process, as the
How'd that go,
saying went.
Philly?
Yeah,
How
so
trusting that process go?
those of you that aren't sports people, usually in sports, the worst team at the end of the year, they look at all the standings, the win loss, and then they do a draft of new players from college or Europe or anyone that wants to get in the league. You can try out, and then they'll draft you. You know, it can't just be you hire someone; you have to take turns. So the worst team, they go first, right? And the Philadelphia 76ers got a general manager in who said, "We're a bad team. We are going to purposefully be one of the worst teams. We're probably going to be one of the worst teams anyway. We're going to go out, we're going to play every single day. We're going to fucking practice hard, and we're going to realize we've got a young team full of new entries to the league, and in 4 or 5 years, trust the process, will be bad on purpose, and then
We'll get a title.
then all of a sudden we got the best pick of the players for 4 straight years, which means 6 to 7 years from now they'll all be in their primes and all used to playing together, and they were the best for every single year, and we'll have a bunch of like 26-year-old absolute all-star killers. Trust the process. You'd go and play Philly, your team, and you would hear the crowd chanting, "Trust the process." Do, 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 do. It was amazing. And what happened is they trusted the process, and the people in charge of executing the process are, we say like a lot of times people are dumb or they're awful in politics. Philadelphia 76ers, dumb. They're just dumb. It turns out they're too dumb, like Pelosi's fucking financial analyst who didn't know people had student loans. Like they do not know how to draft or coach or do anything with talent or win in the NBA. And so it just wasted literally like 8 or 9 years of Philadelphia sports where they trust the process, they got the draft picks, and then they fucking did nothing with it at all. And I kind of feel like it's hard to trust on the front end, the front of house, like campaign trail stuff, that Democrats or the system in general is going to work for you when we see at the moment of crisis, be it the pandemic or now like in here at the state level with Cuomo, literally his own government says he's a sex criminal. Something like 55 to 60% of people think he should resign because, again, the state of New York says he sexually harassed 11 people, retaliated against one, created a hostile workplace. And by the way, some of the stuff in there is super fucking creepy. It's like his old ass asking staffers and like security detail and shit like, "Hey, you think you get me a girlfriend? Make sure she likes pain, if you know what I mean." It's like, buddy, by the way, that's guy at the bar that's like, "Bro, you better fucking kill me if you fight me. I'm fucking extreme." It's like, yeah, she needs to like pain. Yeah, okay, fucking Daddy Cuomo, very inspiring stuff. You fucking creep. Put another fucking steel rod through your nipple or whatever. By the way, that checks out now. According to the state of New York report, if he really is like I like pain guy, I totally believe he put a nipple ring on during that press conference.
Oh yeah.
I'm a truther. That's a studded ass nipple ring. That's what I see. I don't want to see, but clearly other people's consent on his kinks is not something Cuomo's spending a lot of fucking time on.
Yeah.
Despite that, right? Most humans living in New York are like, please fucking get out. We know you are a creep. Your response to this report was to say, no, you can't trust the state of New York, which, okay, so then you're terrible at your job. Why did you're the executive in charge of New York. Get out then. But no, he was just dumbing his way there. He released a video of him hugging and kissing people, a rainbow coalition of people being hugged and kissed and back rubbed by him. He did that on his own Twitter. Cuomo released that as like, "I've always been an expressive man." Fucking the unions have now left him. His own state House and Senate are drafting orders of fucking articles of impeachment against him.
Force his ass out.
His AG, his lieutenant governor has started taking subway photos. When it's like, oh, people need to figure out who I am. Let's get a camera crew and go ride the subway a couple times. Her ass has been on the subway longer than me the last couple weeks. like literally everyone who normally Cuomo has power because like a half dozen people in his inner circle have gone to jail, blah, blah, blah. Famously, they were giving and taking bribes that they called ziti because they're fucking all Italian. They think that's very clever. It's like an Italian James Bond. This is the shit they're into. But he was always untouchable because it's like, I mean, for a while he ran the IDC, this independent Democrat caucus that was all his favorite Republicans that would just caucus with the Dems and then block progressive legislation from coming through the state, because then he wouldn't be in a position where he has to veto it or approve it. So like he's used to having allies everywhere and being untouchable. And look, when this report, its existence, and that people were investigating him came out months ago, uh, it came and went. People were like, "Oh, damn, well, not good, but justice has to bear out and all that." And now that it actually has, it definitely could be the case that he just doesn't resign, and literally every single person flips on him, and it doesn't matter. He has something like a $32 million campaign finance war chest or something, absolutely deranged. You can
Oh, they can
spend
force him out though.
you can spend that on a legal defense fund. Yes, he can be forced out, and that's sort of the interesting thing, right? Is do you do the Trump thing, Cuomo, and just go like, this is a political witch hunt, the state of New York, which, by the way, we all agreed was a perfect angel law enforcement unicorn, and that's why they needed to go after those Trump tax returns, and Merrick Garland needs to work with the New York AG, and this is the righteous arm of liberty and liberalism. Now that is actually political, and that's actually Trump, and yeah, he could take that and just eat the impeachment, which he will probably get, and that there's a certain penalty to that, but it could just be the case, or he could resign, right? But it could just be the case that he sticks in there. I don't know, what if you had to guess based on what you know about Cuomo. What do you think?
Oh, I think he thinks he's Ralph Northam, and he's going to stay in and ride it
Guy who
out.
literally did blackface
The
and
problem,
is
the
still there.
problem
Yeah.
is, there's a difference. One of those is racism in Virginia, right? Which is pretty widely accepted.
Good point.
It doesn't carry criminal charges. There was not a criminal investigation, which is what the AG actually did. The problem is that the Dems have here is they realized the sex crimes thing was forcing out too many of their old creeps. Joe Biden being one of those who would have been forced out had he actually paid
I
attention.
will point out that Cuomo did go to the same organization that Biden went to with the Tara Reid allegations, Time's Up, and he had the Time's Up organization review a draft letter that said, actually, these women are lying and deserved it, but make it woke. They did that work for them. Time's Up. Remember like the little Me Too
Yeah,
that
no, I remember.
everyone had in their profile until Joe Biden started running and they had to remove it. Yeah, reviewed it for Cuomo. Ended up not doing it because they're like, this is fucking insane. There's no way to woke wash this shit.
Yep.
And you're right. It's not racism in Virginia. It's 11 women made the claim. It was investigated and confirmed.
Yeah.
Include
That's
with
the problem they have is
with
they did the
lurid
thing the Dems keep
examples.
asking for. The people
Yeah.
who are like, oh, all these men, it's just a witch hunt. They go, I want to see the investigation. You now have it. You have nowhere to stand on this anymore. Like, it's clear as fucking day. So all the trust the process people, for this one, the process happened. His ass needs to go.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if he doesn't go, then it's just like, okay, then why am I voting for you? Like, it's actually a political problem as well, where it's just like, you as a brand are meant to make me feel good. I'm supposed to be consuming you as a product and getting the halo effect from my brand identification here. And one of the things is I lost Franken, a guy who I fucking really liked. This is in the mind of the Democrat, like Al Franken. I love buying his mugs from fucking Air America. I still got them or whatever, right? Like, if we're gonna lose him, now this guy does fucking this shit. Like, we trusted the process. We got him. If there's absolutely no outcome when you pull the lever of government, don't sell me on why I need you there standing next to the lever.
You're the checks and balances party. That's your party.
We have actual party and fucking governmental unity. The fucking everyone has come out and said like, yeah, this guy's got to go. If he just goes, no, this is how power works.
I mean, that's great. That's great for the destroy the system, which is awesome. But yeah, I mean, that's a slam dunk too. Republicans, of course, you want the Dem to eat shit, so you're going to vote for that. Dems, you need his ass to go away, both because you personally hate him in the state, which is the case for most reps in the state, and because he's making all of you look bad. Like, you are the party of checks and balances. Now's the time. And if you don't do it, it's a fucking albatross forever for you. Like, it's really bad. I would say the other Northam thing he doesn't have going for him that people forget is at the same time Northam was about to be ousted, his lieutenant governor, it came out, was harassing women. So they were like, well, who even takes over then? We got to go too deep. He doesn't. We don't have that problem, which is why I assume the lieutenant governor is out trying to play nice because she also knows that, right? That that's why the Virginia thing sort of halted, is because they didn't know who to turn to. And if she goes, listen, I'm not that, and I don't have no weird, sketchy skeletons like that in my closet, then it becomes a lot easier to go, yeah, force that guy out.
I will say it's I was joking earlier, the Joe Paterno thing, terrible tragedy and stand with the victims, but a very grimy sort of but fuck them, I'm from Tallahassee, one of those things, yeah. Right? And so obviously, Cuomo's a creep. He's the fucking creep. I think he should resign. There's no way to maintain moral authority. There's no way to promote even the purported fucking values of your party after this. Look, you could read it. It's gross. I think if there is something pushing him out, it isn't the system. This is really the actual pressure gauge is what we call the Italian spectrum. Right? And it goes from phrenology on this side to Italian daddy issues on this side. Here's what I mean. So when he posted that video, it was just look, I like hugging and I like kissing people. This is my thing. It's my culture. I'm from a different generation. I don't know. I didn't pick it up the last 11 fucking times people complained about it. So this is what I'm like. And it's amazing seeing all the Italians post this is what we're like, we're very expressive people. We talk with our hands. We always a little kiss on the cheek of this and that sort of thing. It's not sexual. It's communal. It's about the family. It's about traditions, that sort of stuff. And it was kind of cool seeing when it came to workplace sexual harassment in a hostile workplace and literal proven, this isn't alleged, proven retaliation when you speak up. That's obviously terrible. And Italians online just ethnically we're predisposed to doing sex crimes. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to be in the office. I'm doing that. Everyone I know, you got to understand this is just an Italian thing. And it's doing sex crimes is an Italian. That is not the fucking... I know y'all claim Da Vinci and the great line of thinkers, but just Monins Ponins ask some philosophical logic for a second. Sketch this out. You're saying it's okay, Cuomo can be governor, and what I'm giving up for that deal is I understand that we're phrenologically predisposed to sex crimes. The Italian man.
I love that.
It's all right, I mean, and that's what's buoying him.
It's
right?
It's the Italians saying no. I know we say Da Vinci, but Berlusconi is actually who we are. Deep at the genetic level. The Poles run into the fucking breach to get shot. We run in to harass a woman. That's what we do.
Yeah, it's very... Yeah, this is the Italian belief in the ethnic excellence of their sexual harassment and necessity for that ethnic excellence. That to Cuomo is the Fed's quantitative easing. It's just it's pumping energy into a system and keeping it afloat. That is the currency of Northern New York politics right now. So that's he's going to stay side. I think on the he could go side is so I was talking to my friend who happens to be Italian. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
I don't know. I don't believe it.
And so amongst his various groans, grunts, and utterances, I was able to decipher Coco through his signing anecdote. where
he marked it out in the ZD, and I could read the language he was attempting to
I was like,
use.
Mike, it's really like they're thinking. I know that these calls really are just harmonic vocalizations, but I swear they're talking to each other. And so he said that his Italian dad he already had a talk with the kids. It's just like, all right, which one of you is going to throw yourself on my casket at the funeral? I don't care who it is. I'll be dead. It doesn't matter. But obviously, like every other Italian funeral I've ever been to, like my father's funeral, like my brother, someone must throw themselves in hysterics on the casket. It is very much an Italian tradition. Figure it out now so there's not ambiguity and awkwardness at the funerals. You kids can focus on other things. And he's like, yeah, got it. Because that like Italian daddy thing, you notice when Chris Cuomo and Andrew Cuomo are on like CNN, it's always just like, hey, how's your fucking meatballs? Hey, pretty good. Hey, I'll tell you what, remember what dad said, clean your plate. All clean plates over here. I've already confessed to the fact that me and the state Democratic Party hid COVID death figures from the fucking state apparatus because we knew it would be politically detrimental to re-election. And we confessed to that openly. That's a crime that we all are just taking as for granted. Anyway, remember Christmas with Pops? Like, that's every time they're on CNN. And the reason for that is because, like, there's an episode that we did, a Dumb and Awful episode, which if you have the bonus, which you're hearing this, you can go check out, where as a sort of like performance art thing, I read Joe Biden magazine from cover to cover. And Brett, you helped me read that as well. And so you remember from, I think this was one of your parts, they really think the Bidens, they really think that they're Kennedys.
Yeah.
Like they're the Delaware Kennedys.
Yep.
Like that's what they expect. They had, the patriarch of the family, and everyone has been trying to like Biden's hard Scrabble. I got into the school on the hill to play football. It's like, yeah, your dad was a scion of American politics, right?
Grandpa, his dad was actually the fuck up. That's where it got. That's his hard Scrabble.
What was it
my
again?
dad. My dad gambled most of our money away, and my grandpa had to bail him out and buy him a new car dealership so he could once again be wealthy. And again, a car dealership in the 40s and 50s, that's like straight printing cash.
I love that fail sonnery, like Genius, skips a generation. So it's like grandpa, good, fail son, gambling addict, local car dealership guy. Biden, cutthroat, will to power, youngest senator fucking possible and ever. Hunter, just chilling, seeing how many M&Ms he can fit on his dick, seeing if he can do the thing where you lean back and then you flop it and try to catch it in your mouth. Just fucking using racial slur. Just classic. The fail son cycle. So, the Bidens think of themselves as Kennedys. The Cuomos is very similarly. Mario Cuomo is like everything. The Cuomos are all about like Crusader Kings, like Game of Thrones, building their legacy and bringing honor to the family name, right? Like in their mind, their dad should have been president, sort of like a Romney thing, right? When he was in charge of HUD, like there was buzz around this family, and he's been governor for a long time. And it's always been this like, well, I don't want to, there's a little bit of like fear of failure. Like there's a long shadow in New York of his dad, right? He grew up, to him, he's JFK Jr., sort of like, everyone remembers me growing up with my dad, and remember that classic trip to the Ford factory and then the Hershey thing, and then remember at the World's Fair. And it's like nobody remembers that shit but you. That's your own personal mythology. You're just a full-on daddy's boy. Like, my dad's the best dad. He's the strongest and smartest dad. I'm pretty strong. I could whoop anyone's ass except for my dad, who never would, because he's a gentleman. I love him. I love my fucking dad. And
Quick side note, it's definitely a great thing for politics that we have multiple families doing that.
Yeah.
Political dynasties. Really a good sign for democracy.
Anyway. Yeah, it's really cool that our meritocratic, technocratic system has been able to maintain, retain, and sustain itself on fucking just transferring wealth to the same dynastic.
It's cool the way we've recreated aristocracy through neoliberalism.
Yeah. Well, I hope the algorithm allows us to innovate new ways. But all this is to say, if ethnic Italians can't stop doing sex crimes, is his, like, you know what, I think I'll stay. His I might go thing is Trump didn't care about being impeached or whatever, because why the fuck would you? Like, that's just haters gonna hate, but for fucking like congressional censure. Problem with Cuomo is the daddy issues are so real, and I hate what the victims went through, and I feel that sick Joe Paterno feeling, but I will relish, and you should as well, the poetry to a man who only ever cared about crushing brutally, subsuming all other human or empathetic or the feelings based for other human concerns, subsumed that shit for a will to power to make daddy happy and bring glory to the Cuomo name. And if he's going to go in the like New York history books as governor impeached for sex crimes, his own AG found almost a dozen examples of sex crimes. Creepy Cuomo, literally fucking sex criminal Cuomo, him and his brother, who's an anchor. This is all out now, conspired to try to handle the allegations that, again, the state has said were true and has now fully substantiated. So this isn't like, oh my God, people are accusing me. This is the state of New York that he runs says, you did this, which means his meeting with Chris Cuomo were over people he knows and they know he actually did sexually prey on. The fact that the Cuomos will have to be tarred with the sex crime thing, that name, the one thing you can do anything else, you can be as corrupt or perverted as you want for as long as you fucking want. All you have to do is keep sufficient allies such that you do not tarnish the family name irrevocably. And the fact that it's now creepy ass Cuomo is perfect.
Good.
That might actually be something that makes him avoid. Look, it's already going to stick either way.
It's a beautiful Shakespearean story at this point.
He could Ralph Northam the thing and with the resignation, resign, end the fucking media cycle. Oh my God, I resigned. I can't believe it. Go quiet. Wait like he has been for a presidential election where he can fucking make the jump, and then come back as like, nobody's perfect. I put in the work. Woke culture is out of control, but we also have to do it smart. And here's the lessons I've learned. You don't end up going in the history books with an asterisk. Maybe you diminish the damage. Maybe you're doing damage control for your family name if you step down. Maybe the pain of knowing, by the way, they're fucking Italian Catholics. So in this world, Mario Cuomo is literally looking down at him and his brother going, no, fucking no, not fucking stop.
So good.
Could you not have just like driven your wife off a fucking bridge in Massachusetts? You had to actually fucking be like, nice sausage. It fits in your mouth nicely. That's what I have to go down on. My fucking creepy ass son can't stop being like professionally horny in the workplace. God damn it. And if you're Catholic, he's literally watching that. So
good.
Good luck with that fucking unpacking that psychological trauma. It's only going to mount up the longer you stay in office, and it's only going to cement itself further.
Oh, yeah. So, well, because the Dems have every incentive to keep this going forever in the state. Because they also, again, you can't be over-exaggerate how much people hate him.
Yeah. Everyone has been bullied.
Yeah, the second he no longer has a chance to ruin your career or life, stab that motherfucker in the back. There's also the thing with super power hungry people. When the big fish dies, a bunch of little fish get to move up. So do your fucking work. But I think he either goes in the next week or two, or he waits until impeachment. And when he sees that the votes are going to go against him, he goes in. And if he waits till that and doesn't move, I think it's criminal charges is when he finally bails. Because I think they will do that at a certain point that The one thing I do like about Dems in New York is there's a point at which they switch from being Dems to being New Yorkers, and they just get angry. And I think him going through the impeachment is when they go, fuck you. No, fuck you, and do the actual criminal charges. And I think that would be the final straw if he hasn't resigned by then.
The last thing is just there's a lot of people that are Epstein theorizing, which is to say, like, well, I mean, this guy buried so many bodies that maybe you just can't force him out. I don't know about that, because I don't think he's a man of particular personal courage. And clearly he doesn't know what to do. Like, he tried taking a reactive role by releasing a video of him putting slobbery kisses on everyone's grandma. What we now know is the kiss of death, the slobbery Cuomo kiss of death. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing. So, like, I have a hard time believing he's going to skillfully, like, deploy. Yes, the president, Joe Biden, did say he should resign. Yes, Nancy Pelosi says that. I don't know how he starts counterpunching. He seems like he's fucking punch drunk already. But, you know, and also you can see in evidence all the people, all of his allies in the state have already flipped on him.
Yeah.
All the
so
people.
What does he know?
Yeah, it's like whatever he knows, everyone has already decided, like, either it doesn't matter or he's not going to say shit because the flipping already occurred. It didn't prevent the flipping. You have
it
no
clearly
ally.
didn't affect anything. Also, I think if he knew the bodies buried thing would be more for the old IDC stuff. Those people all got voted out. A lot of his biggest allies got voted out in the first place. So tough shit.
Yeah, and the person, by the way, responsible for the IDC, because, you know, we're Americans, we don't have memories, we keep doing the same thing. Responsible for managing the IDC, Liz Smith, is currently over at the Pete Buttigieg soft campaign, putting hit pieces out on Chasen and finding him a new husband. So get ready for this cycle. We never address it. So it's just
we don't address anything ever.
It'll be national in like 6 years. So fucking good luck, everyone. I hope I at least get to see Cuomo.
Amen.
Cuomo smoking that Elliot Spitzer pack on his way out. Rest in piss, Mario. I know you can see this.
God, that rules. Oh, to circle back to the Nina thing.
Oh, yeah.
Electoralism aside, electoral issues aside.
Too much coffee.
She took money from Goldman. Like, I have some flexibility in my ideology, but not with that.
That was the moment. I remember this.
You don't take money from Goldman. Like,
at the start of her campaign, you were already out on taking money from Goldman.
The same reason I liked Warren, she hated Goldman, works in reverse as well. You help Goldman, fuck you. I just like that the financialization companies, the big guys, especially Goldman specifically, are easily one of the most deleterious forces.
What are you referring to, by the way,
society.
so people know what? Like, she didn't take money from Goldman, really, right? Or maybe she did something worse in your eyes?
Oh no, she did. She got her pod where she went out for Biden, got sponsored by them. She was literally taking money from Goldman. Like, they don't get the sponsorship unless you're getting them funding from them. Like, that's who paid you. You straight up took a check from them and then you laundered it through you didn't even launder it. You just took the money, right? She went to a giant white shoe law firm that usually does things I don't agree with. And then she did things that normal Democrats do. If your whole thing is that you're different, why are you doing this? Right? And then you came out and said positive things about Goldman after you took a check from them. I'm out. I don't care if it's $10 fucking. You don't take money from Goldman. Period. And Warren, up until she nuked her entire fucking career.
She's trying to bring it back.
Just like, fuck you, Warren.
It's audio format. No one can see that.
Just flicking her off into the fucking, like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Like, until she nuked everything, she at least never took money from them, right? At least that I knew of, and that she, like, put her name to. Maybe she did behind a closed door, and I never knew that. But, like, that's different from being like, I'm Elizabeth Warren, and this podcast is brought to you by Goldman Sachs, a really fantastic bank. It's like, great. Thank you for telling me what your position is. Like, I'm out.
It's fucking rough.
Don't take money from fucking Goldman Sachs.
Yeah. Well, do we leave anything out? I know I wanted to talk about sort of we'll have to get to it next week maybe. I wanted to talk about, like, the chip shortage.
Oh, I can talk about that forever, whenever you want.
It's literally like in the same way that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency mining makes it so that every computer has the same graphics card from the last 5 fucking years.
Yep.
Because that is, by the way, I love. I don't. I'm ACAB and all that, but I do love seeing like the Singaporean. I don't know if that's the collective adjective. The Singapore's police with the fucking concrete roller just driving over PCs and fucking Raspberry Pis and graphics cards and towers that are all just for Bitcoin mining, just rolling over it.
It's so satisfying.
Love to fucking see it. Look, you don't want an authoritarian crackdown of a capitalist dangist state capitalist, blah, blah, blah. But I also love, in that vein of Bitcoin getting owned, China saying that gaming is spiritual opium.
I saw that.
And saying kids under 12 should not have longer than an hour of gaming a day. As
I don't know that I disagree with them, honestly.
No, all that is fucking dope. And then
Yeah.
today, again, they know how to drip it out. And then today they were saying it's not unreasonable to remove the tax privileges that video games have had because it's the same as any other media, like movies or TV or,
agreed,
or books or whatever. It doesn't need special privileges as if it were a religion in China or whatever, right? So it's like they're pulling that. So again, President Xi removing teen gamers playtime is excellent. That's good.
It's a top tier move.
You should take over Brazil next. For the love of God. Someone needs to do something about well, we'll shut up in a second, but just so the people, this is a real deep cut. People need to know for this reference. Brazil doesn't always have the best infrastructure, right? It's been looted, the global south, et cetera, the Amazon, Bolsonaro, whatever. You get where I'm at. One of the problems is games will have a South American server, where you can connect to play the game with other people. With good ping. You want to play with other people close because fiber optics, travel time still matters. And you want it to be really quick so you can shoot people and it won't lag. And so there's a South American server. But for whatever reason, Brazil, going through the rainforest or the mountains or something about just the lack of investment in sort of the border areas, Brazil connects quicker to the East Coast America data centers in most games than it does the South American one. This is also something that the Swedes deal with. This isn't like a racial thing. The dynamic is always the same. On Northern European servers, that pings better than the Eastern European servers do. So every time, if you're a Swede, who by the way are like first in the nation, they're really good because they have great infrastructure, great internet. They had like Wi-Fi and T1 connections and the best internet subsidized by their SOCDEM, whatever shit, real early. So they like win international competitions. But whenever they play locally, there's always fucking Poles and Latvians and Russians just going, "You whore, suka bia drop, go B. You are go be suka, yeah." And so Brazil famously, these kids just go to a net cafe together. These preteen and teenage boys in Brazil acting out together in person at a net cafe on the US Eastern servers. And they will ruin any hope of collaboration you have, any spark of life you have. It doesn't matter what you say.
They say the most offensive shit I've ever heard on a video game.
They have the sort of just perverse animosity for common decency that only an impoverished Catholic can have.
Yes.
Yes. Me Too never came to fucking Sao Paulo. It is the most terrifying U.S. East. So all I'm saying is, President Xi, I'm pro-imperialism, but only when it comes to gaming servers in the European North and U.S. Eastern. Though that can be your new South China Sea. I am ready, President Xi.
Is it Is it imperialism if we consider ourselves more advanced than China and they take over us?
No, I consider this to be like a situation where
Because I support that.
this is like ethnic Russians in Crimea. Like, there's a lot of good, pleasant, just lunch pail, blue collar workers trying to play on these servers. We select English. We select the English language server so we can coordinate in a team game. It's nothing racist, but you have to be able to coordinate. And just being told that either I'm being raped right now, or I should be raped, or I was raped, or my mom was. It doesn't make any sense in a language I can't speak. Just please, President Xi, I want to know who in my family and what orifice is being raped by these Brazilian teens. Just fucking sort it out. The spiritual opium is corrupting the youth, and I hope you do fucking levy taxes. What a great man. I forget what we're talking about. That's probably enough time, though.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say last thing is we can talk about infrastructure, but
Oh, it was the chips and stuff. Yeah, because it's in the same
we
way
can talk
that
about that next time.
in the same way that the fucking Bitcoin and the graphics card shit makes it impossible to like play games as a gamer. OnlyFans and streaming on Twitch is suffering because I guess there's a chip in the fucking Logitech camera that they can't get their hands on, so they can't produce
Rolls.
it. Sick.
Rolls.
It's affecting PlayStations. It's a whole fucking supply chain thing.
Yeah. I was gonna say, but the infrastructure bill looks like it's finally been decided on. I don't pay attention to politics, but I do pay attention to that. We have months we can talk about it.
Let's talk about
because
that
it's not going to pass anytime soon.
Yeah, well, let's do the supply chain chips and the fucking infrastructure thing, because I want to talk. Here's how I want to do that: talk about that once and then never fucking again.
Amen.
I'm sick of the fucking meme. All right, sending it home. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Again, Rob at Dumb and Awful. You can follow us as Brett here. You can follow us at Dumb Awful Show.
And Brett, I'm free of the internet.
Yeah, free of the internet. If you occasionally on Discord, if you want to pop in the Marks Madness Discord, occasionally I see you there once or twice.
Mostly, I'm just free range, Brett. Now, no longer penned in.
Free, pissing and shitting where you will.
Yeah, offending people in person. No one screams at me I'm a Nazi in person, which is nice.
Just podcasting at the fucking bus overhang. Hey, what's the deal with transit? What are numtots, huh? Why don't we have an eco bus? Yeah, that's the life. Your San Wataneo is logging off and offending people in person with your hardline takes.
It's nice.
Yeah, love that for you. So if you're hearing this, obviously you already subscribe and all that. Thank you so much for that. We do appreciate it a lot. I can tell you today, we just lost a comrade to an overdose here in Brooklyn, and so we sent $100 over for Narcan for a mutual aid event. Doing some harm reduction stuff with that. We of course pay our guests, so we'll do the financial transparency thing. But you aren't wasting it. And if you want to support us, we haven't talked about this for a while, but I think if you're on iTunes or Spotify or whatever, just throw a 5-star review. And then even if it's dog shit, I always just give 5 stars to all leftist stuff, because God knows the fucking chuds and liberals are just like, oh wow, another true crime with 5 star. If we need our message to break through, because God knows we don't have enough people in this movement right now as is. So as always, support lefties, do your bit. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Sound good? All right.